and he was shouting when he was arrested. 8 pedestrians were injured. The driver was not. The FBI is assisting investigators in Sunnyvale, south of San Francisco. Stocks slip, the Dow down 58 points, the NASDAQ and the S&P off their record highs. This is Fox News.
Docomo Pacific's all-new business bundles provide tailored solutions to help your business become a better business. Choose from our Business Basic, Essential, or Value bundles and get unlimited talk and text, worry-free data at home and abroad, plus access to the fastest online speeds in the Marianas. Add on mobile or broadband lines and save up to 20% for each line. Email businesssales@docomopacific.com to find out which bundle provides the best solution for your business. Terms and conditions apply.
Attention homeowners, if you don't have a solar energy system on your roof from Micronesia Renewable Energy, now is the time to get one. MRE solar energy systems now come with battery storage for zero money down. This means that your home will have power even when the island power isn't available, like during power outages or during and after storms. The inconvenience of not having power for your home is a thing of the past. Don't be left in the dark. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
President Trump vowing to keep up the fight against the nation's opioid crisis on multiple fronts, speaking at a drug abuse summit today in Atlanta.
We are holding Big Pharma accountable. They should be accountable.
This as the federal government brings a first-of-its-kind criminal case against a drug distributor in the opioid epidemic.
The former CEO of Rochester Drug Cooperative is accused of not only ordering his subordinates to ignore red flags about certain customers to help boost the company's bottom line, but also did so to maximize his own pay. The Department of Justice confirms this is the first time executives of a pharmaceutical distributor and the distributor itself, in this case RDC, have been charged with drug trafficking. 2 executives have been charged. The most notable, though, former CEO Lawrence Dowd III. He made his initial appearance in federal court yesterday on charges of unlawfully distributing oxycodone and fentanyl and conspiring to defraud the DEA.
Fox's Laura Ingle. Prosecutors say the number of oxycodone pills sold to pharmacies by RDC soared by 800% between 2012 and 2016. The company has already agreed to pay a $20 million fine to the federal government. An Arkansas woman upset that her husband refused to stop watching pornography now faces prison time for killing him.
69-year-old Patricia Hill spent 50 years of her life working as a nurse, but says she just snapped after catching her husband, Frank, ordering yet another porn movie on TV at their home in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, outside Little Rock. So she grabbed a gun and shot him in the foot. Hill claims she didn't think it would actually kill him. Hill was facing a capital charge, but the jury says it's second-degree murder, and now she's facing 16 years in prison. Eben Brown, Fox News.
Recapping Wall Street, the Dow down 59 points as the numbers settle. The S&P and the NASDAQ also lower. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
When your family needs medical care, how often do you find the need to visit multiple clinics? When a child has a serious ailment, do you find yourself meeting a medical provider only to learn you must go somewhere else for testing? At the FHP Health Center, you can find multiple specialties and testing services under one roof. And if your family needs urgent care, FHP is there for you with convenient weekday, evening, and weekend hours. Voted the island's best clinic and Pica's best 2 years in a row. FHP, our island, your clinic. Learn more at fhpguam.com.
Get 2 Pepsi 12 packs for only $8.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a Pepsi 12 pack for only $3.49 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See store for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get 2 Coke 12 packs for only $8.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
The University of Guam presents Tritons Out Loud. Celebrate a day of diversity on Friday, April 26th at the University of Guam Calvo Fieldhouse from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Come out and experience the opening parade, food trucks, fashion and entertainment, and more.
Let's have some fun.
This event is open and free to the public. Join the first ever Diversity Day, where we celebrate unity, pride, sexuality, individuality, and diversity of the Triton and Island community. Tritons Out Loud.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 6 a.m. this Thursday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The Guam Attorney General's office has informed the Consolidated Commission on Utilities that the salary adjustments approved for GPA and GWA executives during a closed-door meeting last November are void and must be rescinded. That message was delivered to the CCU by Attorney General Levin Camacho in a letter written to CCU Chairman Joey Duenas on Tuesday of this week. In his letter, Camacho wrote that his office has reviewed the minutes of the November 27th CCU meeting at which salary adjustments were discussed in executive session in violation of the open government law, wrote Camacho. Camacho states that any salary adjustments approved at that meeting are void, and any salary adjustments or bonuses authorized and paid as a result of that meeting must be paid back by the employees. Among those receiving bonuses and pay raises at GWA were General Manager Miguel Bordallo, whose pay increased from $175,000 to $190,000 annually. He also got a $10,000 bonus from the CCU. GWA legal counsel Kelly Clark received a pay increase from $115,000 to $140,000 a year. Over at the Guam Power Authority, General Manager John Benavente got a bonus of $25,000 on top of his annual pay of $225,000. Assistant General Manager of Administration Beatrice Limtiaco's annual pay went from $128,000 to $144,000. Those were among the raises at both GPA and GWA, and according to the Attorney General now, those raises are rescinded and the bonuses must be paid back. In other news this morning, Chief Judge Francis Tydenko Gatewood of the District Court of Guam has decided to end the 11-year federal receivership over Guam's solid waste and disposal services, effective at 5 p.m. April 30th. She announced her decision during a hearing yesterday morning. She will issue a written order within a few days. On May 1st, for the first time since March 2008, the collection and disposal of the island's trash will be the responsibility of the government of Guam. Federal Receiver Gershman, Brickner, and Bratton will turn over day-to-day operational control to the semi-autonomous Guam Solid Waste Authority and its new general manager, Larry Gast. At a news conference following the court's announcement yesterday, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero declared that it is an historic day, a great day for the people of Guam. GSWA General Manager Gast said his team is ready. We're not going to be raising rates just to raise rates, he said. If we keep the status quo, we're going to be in good shape, he said. In a statement to the Guam Daily Post, Federal Receiver David Manning said the entire receiver team is pleased to have had the opportunity to build a modern solid waste system for Guam. He said Guam now has the opportunity to build on our work and maintain this system, but it will require continued focus on the fundamentals and political leadership, he said. Manning added that none of it would have been possible without the courage and leadership of Chief Judge Francis Tydenko Gatewood. We'll have more news after this.
Hey, it's Mom. Somebody forgot to thaw the chicken, so meet us at Chili's for 2 for $25. Oh, and congratulate your sister for making the basketball team. She's thrilled. Love you. See you at Chili's.
Enjoy 2 full meal combos for $25. An appetizer, 2 mouth-watering entrees like our crispy chicken breast, smoked barbecue quarter leg, or smoked jalapeno cheddar sausage. Served with corn on the cob and french fries. 2 bold combos for $25. A full-on meal deal available nightly for a limited time. Together, we Chili's.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
News time here at The Point is 11 minutes past 6 a.m. In district court yesterday, former Revan tax employee Lourdes Fernandez Blas admitted to fraudulently issuing driver's licenses in exchange for bribes. 47-year-old Blas pleaded guilty to a charge of unauthorized access of a protected computer in furtherance of fraud. She was arrested 3 years ago on allegations that she bypassed the driver's license examination process and issued licenses in exchange for cash payments ranging from $500 to $700. Blas now faces a maximum penalty of 5 years in a federal prison, 3 years of supervised release, and a fine of up to $250,000. Her sentencing will take place at a yet-to-be-announced later date. Attorney David Lujan is objecting to what he calls the fire sale of one of the valuable real estate assets owned by the Archdiocese of Guam. Lujan represents the vast majority of the sexual abuse claimants who have filed lawsuits against the island's Catholic Church seeking hundreds of millions of dollars in damages that will have to be paid by the sale of church assets. Lujan filed notice of his objection in district court, citing the proposed sale of the former Axion Hotel that was once used as a seminary. It's up for sale for only $5.4 million. Lujan says that no appraisal was done before the sale price was set. He points out that earlier offers for the property ranged from $6.5 to $7.5 million. Lujan also objected to the 5% commission sought by RE/MAX, the real estate agent, saying it is exorbitant. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at weather.
What are you talking about? You could do another 10 minutes of news. We got all kinds of stuff here today, don't we?
Too much.
Yeah, well, we get another round of headlines coming up here in about 18 minutes or so, but the man called for weather, so here it comes. Mostly cloudy, isolated showers, easterly winds up to about 20 miles an hour. Didn't feel any of that this morning. Decreasing a bit overnight, highs 89 degrees and overnight lows of about 77 degrees. Odd, an isolated shower fell on us this morning on the way to work, didn't it?
Yeah, we just had another round moving through as well. We look on radar, we can see what's going on. Little trade wind disturbance cruising on through. These showers actually got some oomph to them. We got some yellow echoes there, and that's a pretty moderate rainfall coming through. That'll be nice to wash the oil off of the roadway, and well, we need some of that rain, especially down south.
It has been so long since the windshield wipers had to start moving. It actually took a couple of minutes once the rain got started to wipe off all of the crap that was on the windshield. Deposits there. So you might want to give it a little squirt of detergent before you get things going today. Sunset tonight at 6:35. Sunrise this morning was at 6:02. So we've already seen what the radar looks like. You want to jump over to the satellite and see if there's anything that give us an idea of whether we're going to have more of this for the day?
Yeah, we can check that out. There's not really much down the pike there. We're just getting a little ripple of instability coming through, and the trade wind flow. Lobbage down to the south is going to stay down there, and these showers right here are probably just about all we're going to see today. So enjoy them while you can.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Now, I did note that it was rather warm and kind of muggy this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's par for the course this time of year?
It really is. I mean, as our low-level moisture continues to climb, because we're not really getting any more intrusions of drier air from the north, then it's just going to start feeling thicker and thicker out there as the days go by.
That's exactly the way I described it. 6:14 in the morning. That's news and weather together. Brought to you by Bank Pacific, where others put branches, they place roots.
This is Ronnie. Ronnie is about to break his piggy bank.
Come on, piggy bank.
Ronnie wants to upgrade his smartphone.
And this piggy's gonna help me.
If Ronnie had signed up for GTA's handset payment option, he could have selected a new smartphone with an affordable monthly plan.
I could have what?
Exactly. Sign up for HBO at GTA and don't break the bank.
I'm sorry, piggy bank.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit gta.net for more information. GTA.
Thank you very much. 888-255-888-TALK. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show this morning brought to you by American President Lines. APL is shipping the future Micronesia renewable energy. You know, there's never been a better time to go solar. Guam Regional Medical City, first choice for your specialty care needs. Of course, Jen and Joey and Dunge and the guys over at Cars Plus, driven by you and Wendy's, where they ask that you find some time and go and enjoy some of the great deals that they've got for you, including the North Pacific Cod Filet Meal. It starts with the salad, you get the sandwich, and then we wash it all down with an honest green tea.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
think it was. Lillian Cruz online this morning says, Buenos, Ray, Kevin, and Michael, and congratulations to Guam Family Justice Center Alliance for a successful walkout. There it is. You can see it on Facebook Live. There's still just enough on my palm because I went and found a whole bunch of people that were of the same like mind last night. I'll riff on that a little bit more, but first let me just welcome everybody. Let me just bring you close to my bosom, the bosom of the morning show here on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray Gibson, and over there is the bosom of Michael Knight, my weather whisperer.
I'm sorry, brother, but I want to stay as far away from your bosom as I possibly can.
And the man that has no choice, because we're locked in the same studio together, is Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post. There's not enough paper today to cover all the news stories that we've got floating around.
Isn't it something? I can't. The news cycle is
it's
wild.
heavy, isn't it? A big news cycle today, and I think it's going to be even bigger tomorrow. Guam Solid Waste Authority, and they've got to get together. They've got a meeting today, and the guys over at the Public Utilities Commission have got a meeting tonight, and I think there's going to be some headlines coming out of both of those get-togethers. Now, especially with GSWA, because they're going to get the keys to the Laton landfill.
That's right.
Yeah. Are you feeling it? Kevin feels good, this song. Yeah. Now, in recent years, guys in the radio business have taken to singing along with this, and it's become the happy birthday theme, right? So you get a couple of guys in a morning show, one of these morning zoo things, and they go, happy birthday to you, happy birthday. And I just, I never got around to that.
They must have just done that on Guam.
Oh, really? Oh, you never heard that before? Oh,
no.
yeah.
But I don't listen to radio. So.
6:18 in the morning, and let me just jump into the Facebook Live first and say hello to everybody, because it's going to be a fat list today.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. See, our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
So Ismail still beat everybody to the punch, despite the fact that Pam Duvall had been trying to apparently distract him starting about 4:30 this morning. None of us sleep. None of us have any regular sleep hours. So Pam and I don't know what they were talking about or communicating about, but that's the way it works. So as Ismail got in again first, and there's Pam. Governor Gutierrez was, I want to say, in the top 5 of the people that chimed in, got their comments in first thing this morning. I see Anita Mufness, but not Valentine's eyes today. She's got stars in her eyes. What's that old song? Stars in your eyes, little one, where do you go to sleep? Ba-da-da-da-da-da. You know what, don't you? Linda Gabriel is there. Erlen Rivera. Hey, Ern, nice to see you. Did you go running this morning? Ismail to Pam. Good morning, distractor. Linda Gabriel's online. Pam's there. Void those raises. That's the big news here today, and I'll get to the letter from the Attorney General's office. The AG's office has decided to get into it with Bob Klitsky. Back him up on this conversation. James Howard, oh yeah, tall tales in effect. Boom is the language he's using this morning. I see Margaret Cruz. Bob Lizama is there. Lady D, Nick Perlosky. Finally, an AG has returned to Guam. Well, I got to say it like The Rock. An AG has returned to Guam. It's not quite Rocky.
It was a good effort, though.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a different wrestler. It's a different wrestler voice that I used.
Yeah, you used more of a, what is it?
Rotten Ronnie Piper?
Could be.
No, the other guy. Slim Jim.
Yeah, okay.
Who can eat Slim Jims all day? That guy. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, may he rest in peace.
Somebody will chime in on the Facebook and tell it. Fine. I don't know. Maybe we can do. I was just.
Oh, Randy, Macho Man.
Randy,
Savage.
yeah. I was thinking about that because I don't do a good rock here, but maybe I could do. I don't know. There's got to be a different voice that I can use or something like that. Was it about the guy from This Is Sparta? It's the same voice though, right?
Kind of. Yeah.
This is Sparta.
That was not
Where's
bad.
my Slim Jim? I'll work on this. Jennifer Poe-Schnitger is online. Simon Sanchez, welcome home. Nice to see you there. What's up, Ray? Oh, we got 4 hours to talk about what's up today. Carmelian Guerrero, Ken LG. What about having the AG look at the Calvo Tenorio illegal double bonuses and collect that money? Easy now, easy now. Just we'll set up that list. Remember when after the election was all done, I put together that list of crap I wanted Lou and Josh to fix, and maybe that would be another thing. We'll put together a list of crap we want the Attorney General to get into. Janice is what is her name? I saw her just a second ago. Janice Wong in IAEA is watching the program here this morning. Nice to see you there. Carm Leon Guerrero, as I said, Lynn Vince Borja Polino, Margaret Cruz, Ted Lewis. Yes, that Ted Lewis. John St. Nicholas says, good Thursday morning, all. Amanda Shelton, that's Senator Amanda Shelton is there. Patty Santiago. Karen Otiwi, Yoich Ringil, Tutao. It's nice to see you guys there. Gwen is online. Lady D says, see, the people got angry and the politicians backed down. Bob O'Malley says, good morning, Senator Amanda. Good to see you there. Carlos Barreto, Greg Karabrock from Take Care, Ramona White Longa, Lillian Cruz. Yes, talking about a successful walkout yesterday. Marie Pangolinan Lizama is on. Cousin Troy is in. Troy Torres is on the program this morning. Well, not on the program. He's in the Facebook. And I'm looking over some of the stories that I got that are in front of me now. And we got this one here. Doyan Morato, well-known businesswoman, has been appointed by Governor Lou Leon Guerrero to serve on the Guam International Airport Authority Board of Directors. Now, it is my understanding from a story in today's Guam Daily Post that Doyan's nomination replaces...
That's correct. Dan Tydinko's previous nomination to that seat.
He had requested, apparently, of the governor to withdraw.
Dan sent a letter the other day to the governor and asked to be withdrawn, and the governor agreed and has appointed her.
Yep. And I can't help but think that somewhere out there, Troy Torres is giggling like Beavis and Butthead, and maybe even some of this on the point here this morning. So there's Buena's cousin Ray. Nice to see you there, buddy. Jeff Pleadwell's online. Eunice Mendiola. I got Mers Greeno, Rick Leone, Juanita Machi. Anita Mofnis has gone back to Pretty Valentine's Eyes. You can see that if you're following along. There's Heather and Richard Leon and Troy Torres says Biba Lou. Ismail's writing down Gerald Butler, but I'm not entirely sure why. But we get to it. It's a literal ton of stuff to talk about today.
Gerard Butler was Gerard Butler. Hello, I can speak. Leonidas in the movie 300.
Oh, he did good.
He did. No,
he did good. Yeah, no, and I take it's the "This is Sparta" line that I think we've internalized sometimes because there are ways that things happen around here. There are ways that things happen in this broadcast, and people say, "Well, you shouldn't ought to do that. You shouldn't ought to say that. You shouldn't ought to talk like that. You shouldn't ought to bring in that guest." And you just sometimes you just got to go. You know what? This is Sparta. This is Guam, and maybe that's the way it's done in other places, but around here we're gonna do what I think, for the most part, entertains me. I'll make that part of the conversation clear. Many of the times, the conversations that we get into and the fun that we get into is for entertainment purposes only, and it's basically my entertainment. It's like when you watch Cousin Troy on his things.
Right.
You know he's just having a great time.
Yeah, the only
he's
time...
going, what? There's no rules. There's no guidelines. There's no guardrails on this conversation. I can do whatever I want to. What's that? Light up a cigarette?
Yeah, the only time we'll change what we do is when people stop showing up.
Exactly. I see Ken Leguatnia is there. Charlie Hermosa, good to see you there, buddy. We got a big christening going to be taking place this weekend in the residence. Alex Afflegui and John Savares. And John, I'm sure, is annoyed that we just have not done a whole lot by way of marijuana talk in some time. I mean, we've had other issues. We've had other issues. I'm sorry. We got all kinds of stuff going on and have not had a chance to conveniently bring up the topic of recreational marijuana. I'll change that for you right now. Remind me to talk about this a little bit later on, because I think this is, in my mind, this is right up there along the lines of opportunities that will come to smart businessmen in the wake of the approval of recreational marijuana laws here on Guam. One of the provisions allows for not the consumption, but the cultivation of marijuana in your own home.
I watched a video on YouTube the other day, and it talks about small growth operations, and it's perfect. I'm going to fix one up. So
now, have you decided how you're going? Are you going to use hydroponics? Are you going to use dirt, soil, whatever? I mean,
no, I'm just going to use soil. I'm going to use plastic pots, and I'm going to buy those portable closets.
Yes.
That you can zip up. It's perfect. No, you only need a square foot per plant. And you can get about 3 square feet out of that one of those little portable closets. So I'm only going to grow like 2 plants. I mean, I don't need that much.
I just want to do it for the exercise.
That's right.
I just test out my green thumb. All right, so there are going to be businesses that will recognize the desire, the need, the want of members of our community that want to go out there and grow their own marijuana. Not wait for the dispensaries, not wait for the lab. Just go find some seeds and put them in some kind of medium and grow them. Now, I'm fond of these guys and have been for many years. The guys over at ERC Trading. Virtually every motorized, mechanized gizmo I've got. Bush cutters, water blasters, washing machines, whatever. The chances are I bought it from them or have had these guys maintain them for me. And ERC Trading has an ad in the newspaper this morning promoting their hydroponics products and supplies. Ooh. Right? And you were talking about a little grow tent? Mm-hmm. Look at the picture. Look at the picture, everybody. You see it right there? That is a grow tent. It's exactly what you're talking about. You put the little planties in there, and then you put the lights in the system, and you just kind of grow them in that. So they've got grow tent, LED grow lights. They've got grow light panels. They're featuring products from Because, Sunshine, Roots Organics, Fox Farm, Hydro Farm, Botanicare, General Hydroponics, and I imagine that these are going to be great for people that would like to grow their own vegetables.
Absolutely, yes. Peppers,
sure.
Tomatoes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just what I need. I need those little tiny tomatoes. That's what I want. Plenty of those. So I'm going to grow them in my hydroponic grow systems. Now, the hydroponic grow systems. The hydroponic grow systems here. If you take a look at, I'm sure I'm not doing the picture justice here, but you got a big tank that holds the water and the nutrients, and then it feeds this hydroponic solution, this robotic stuff, into a variety. And do you see how many there are? There are exactly 6.
I noticed that.
One
Nice
for
touch.
each of the plants that you're going to grow. So what time do they open there? 8 o'clock in the morning. So you might want to. This will be like people lining up for Jollibee. Everybody's going to go over to ERC at like 7 o'clock this morning and say,
You're gonna get there and there's a line, and we're like, what?
Hydroponic stuff. So I want to be first in line to buy. What do you think, John? I think bean sprouts. That's what we're going. You can grow bean sprouts in poo. You don't need any fancy hydroponic system. You just need little bean sprout seeds, and you can grow all of that stuff in there. What are we talking about? So there's don't put that over there because I'm going to riff on this some more a little bit later on in the program. 6:28 in the morning, as I said. The big story here is that who's that guy? Levin Camacho. Tell it to the AG is what Levin Camacho's boy says to the teachers whenever he gets in trouble at school. He's tell it to the AG. And in fact, I think he says that to grown-ups too when you're running around. Who have I got? I got a letter here, the email. Oh, it's way down deep. I gotta dig it out on a different phone. But basically, the Attorney General's office sent out a cover sheet with basically said, yeah, in reviewing the minutes and everything, you put it in executive session, and you're under no circumstances, bold, underline the words, under no circumstances, supposed to do it that way. And so, guess what? The pay raises that you gave out back in the day are void, and any monies that's already been dispersed to these individuals as a result of these illegal pay raises now has to be returned. You're going to do it right, do it in front of God and everybody, stick it in agendas and have it in the public portions of your meetings.
What's sad is someone probably took that first check and went and bought a real nice boat or something, and now they have to pay it back.
Set that money aside for my hydroponic grow system. That's what I did with mine. Jet skis. Yeah, because wasn't there a bonus in there? It was like a $25,000 bonus.
Yeah.
Dude, that's gonna be big time. Anyway, let me just get everything taken care of for the next 29 minutes of at least this hour. Next hour of the program, I'm very careful about scheduling guests in the 7:30 time period, between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. You always think about that as being my kind of fun time, and don't like to do like interview things. But in this case, I've got an in-studio interview with a guy that I can only describe as a serious adventurer. Rob McCallum from EOS Expeditions is here on Guam, a professional expedition leader and consultant who has planned, managed, and led expeditions for a wide variety of clients in the most remote parts of our planet. Tell you what, you want to talk about a list of credentials? You think you're an adventurer because you like to go hiking on the weekend? Right? Oh, I got to dive. I can go diving on the weekend. Yeah, that's lowballing on the adventurous stuff. Here's a guy, multiple expeditions to the Titanic.
Wow.
Right? He's going to sit right there in less than an hour. He's taken people down to the Bismarck. And has been using the Mir submersibles. It used to be a joke back in the old days because they had the Mir spaceship, and they said Mir, which is Russian for death trap. Anyway, but different, I think, with the submersibles. Design and management of many complex deep-water expeditions, including the search for Air France 447. And, yeah, James Cameron, record-setting dive to the Marianas Trench in the Deep Sea Challenger. Yeah, he was a coordinator for the test program for that. Because we're not sending James Cameron down in a tin can 7 miles under the water without knowing that the thing will work and we'll be able to bring him back up.
That is helpful.
We're talking about serious adventure class here in the studio in, as I say, a little bit less than an hour. It's 6:32 in the morning and time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. Paul Santos Mafnis Jr. entering a plea of not guilty in Superior Court yesterday to allegations that he kidnapped and raped a 10-year-old girl in Tamuning. Mafnis was indicted on 2 counts of first- and second-degree criminal sexual conduct, attempted first-degree criminal sexual conduct, and kidnapping. He's also facing a special allegation of committing a crime against a vulnerable victim and possessing or using a deadly weapon while committing a felony. Mafnis is accused of forcing a schoolgirl into his vehicle, raping her, and then abandoning her in a Tamuning parking lot earlier this month. Mafnis had already spent about 15 years in prison following his 1999 conviction on similar allegations. He was released on parole in 2014. Mafnis appeared in court yesterday via closed-circuit TV from the Agana Detention Facility. He waived his right to a speedy trial. His next scheduled court appearance is set for June 4th before Judge Maria Senzon. Doyan Morato has been appointed by Governor Lulian Guerrero to serve on the AB Wampat Guam International Airport Authority Board of Directors. Morato is a well-known businesswoman. She is currently the operations manager of the North Wind Group, Silver Mountain Construction, and the founder and CEO of Zori's Only, a local apparel and greeting card company. Morato's nomination replaces the governor's earlier appointment of GTA executive Dan Tydenko to the airport board. The governor's communications director, Janela Carrera, said that Tydenko had asked for his nomination to be withdrawn, and the governor agreed. Tydenko got a strong support from a number of witnesses at his March 8th confirmation hearing, including, among others, former Port Authority of Guam General Manager Joanne Brown and Bank Pacific President Phil Flores. However, Senator Mary Torres was sharply critical of the nominee. She accused Tydenko of permitting unprofessional and irregular legal billing practices at the port for the sake of his personal relationship with the port's legal counsel, Mike Phillips. A car engulfed in flames rolled down the hill before coming to a stop at the guardrails of the Chowd Bridge on Route 4 in Sinahanya yesterday afternoon. The car was involved in a two-vehicle collision around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Officers with the Guam Police Department were at the scene trying to piece together the exact cause of that accident. Fortunately, no one was injured. However, injured seriously at least. North and southbound lanes were closed for nearly 2 hours as the accident was investigated. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Yeah, there was some chilling video that came through yesterday. That the car just kind of on fire, slowly rolling downhill into the valley, into the Chowd. Dangerous spot. If you'll recall, there's a lot of accidents that we see on that particular stretch of roadway between Sinahanya, Afami Sinahanya, and into the Ordot area. 6:35 in the morning is iConnect time. Swing by the nearest iConnect and tell them Ray Gibson said something about push to talk. It's a kind of smartphone / two-way radio. I don't understand all of the ways that it works. They do, and they can tell you all about it at iConnect.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. My name is Alicia Blas from Agate, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Putehi Igumamu. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Helen Keller once said, "Blindness separates us from things, but deafness separates us from people." At Ross Hearing Aids, it's their mission to keep you connected to the moments and the people that matter most in your life. Hearing aid technology has never been better, so schedule your complimentary hearing consultation today. Call Ross Hearing Aids, 637-HEAR, 637-4327. You should hear what you're missing.
I love you, Daddy.
How's your hearing?
Studio time, 6:36. Let me see if I can get outside and see what the traffic gizmos have got to say about your drive. If you happen to be on the road right now, don't see anything holding you up. Let me go down to Big Navy. Slow over by the intersection. It gets you onto Sumai, but otherwise it should be all right. Don't see anything real big in front of Navy Hospital. A little bit of traffic around Devil's Point on the way into the governor's office, but I think that's it. I think it's just the intersection down there. Don't see anything happening on Route 4 right now. Route 8 generally clear all the way into the downtown Agate area. You will see a little bit of traffic as you make your way into the Kenyatta Toto Loop Road area, and that has to do, I think, with the McMobile and the fact that there's still school at Harvest, etc. Nothing on Marine Corps Drive. Too much to worry about southbound and northbound on Marine Corps Drive. So I'd just say now's a good time to drive. Right now, as a matter of fact. 6:37. Right now, traffic here on The Point.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Real Talk Radio is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Is that my old girlfriend, Linda Evangelista, disguised as Linda Moreno, tuning in from Colorado Springs? I guess so. It must be. She's calling me Raymond. That's how I know for sure that it's her. Never passed by Mataguac without thinking about you and the family. It's 6:38 in the morning. 888-8255. 888-TALK. Who else playing around on the Facebook Live? Jackie Cabrera in town and online this morning. Great to see you there. Pam Duvall with a note, as predicted, senators were out taking selfies and writing enough on their hands. I saw that. I saw that yesterday. Boy, I saw it almost immediately. But I'd riff on it and complain, but I don't want to tarnish any of what happened yesterday. Yesterday, I thought was a brilliant example of I don't, and it doesn't happen very often. You know, it's something that everybody experienced about at the same time, like Christmas, like getting stuck in traffic on Christmas Eve, like getting stuck over around Kmart for back to school. Everybody experienced it at the same time. Minutes after 5 o'clock, offices emptied out. I was at a restaurant that virtually emptied out and walked out onto Marine Corps Drive, holding a banner that said enough. I got the word enough written on my hand, and everybody around me did too. And down the stretch of road, it wasn't any more than an eighth of a mile in front of the GCIC building, there was another crowd just like the one that I was in, holding out their hands and holding banners and signs. And if you look northbound on Marine Corps Drive from in front of Mosa, you could see another couple of groups that were out there. And if you were on the road, no way you missed that. No way you missed it. It seemed like everywhere was absolutely covered with people holding up their hands, saying, "We have had enough." Now, and to the point that Pam is saying, a lot of politicians, elected representatives that were out there on the roadways holding signs and the words "enough" on their hands. And number one, I'm glad that you participated, but you are not the transmitters of the message "enough." You are supposed to be the receivers of the message "enough." Got it? So while you were out there, and I'm sure you had the same community experience, take it as a literal endorsement by all of the people on Guam. We're not going to get mad if you start coming down heavy on criminals. We're not going to get mad if people start getting really long sentences that keep them away from the rest of the community that just want to live in a safe place. I'm not saying I want to start leaving the car windows open all night. I'm not saying I want to go back to the old days where we didn't have to lock all the doors and the windows of our house. But, man, it'd be nice to have an option if we knew that there were people that if they did step out of line in the community, that they would be dealt with justly. And we would all be held accountable for our deeds. So enough. Right? You get the message? You gave part of the message? Okay, good. Get to work. Let's see what you can do with it now. 19 away from the top of the hour. 888-825-888-TALK. And got a note earlier today that there has the Office of the Attorney General's office has decided to assist Judge Bob Klitsky, Senator Bob Klitsky, and radio tall tale host Bob Klitsky with his desire to see them do the pay raises right. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, Ray.
So have you seen the letter from the Attorney General's office?
I saw the PNC story last night, but I have not seen the letter.
I will copy it to you, but and I might see if I can pull it up on the email thing that I've got in front of me right now. That will I can read bits and pieces of it to you. Though I don't know that I would need to read the whole thing to you because it sounds almost exactly like the conversation that we had on the radio the other day.
Yeah, right.
The open government law prohibits such discussion and provides in relevant part, quote, under no circumstances, and we're quoting the law, but we're also quoting Bob Klitsky, under no circumstances shall a public agency hold an executive or closed meeting to discuss salaries, salary level, or salary adjustments of any employee or officer. All such discussions or decisions must be held in a public meeting, and minutes shall be kept and open to the public. And that's reference to 5 of the Guam Code annotated. Any action in violation of the open government law is void. Ab initio, and you know I forgot to go to law school because I was busy picking betel nut for my grandparents. Can you tell me what ab initio means?
From the beginning. In other words, it's void, not voidable.
Huh. Okay, so any action that was taken as a result of this meeting is void, period.
Yes.
And he goes on to say, this is leaving tight to no Camacho, goes on to say, therefore, any salary adjustments approved at this meeting are void ab initio again. Any salary adjustments or bonuses authorized and paid as a result of this meeting must be paid back by these employees. And then he leaves the telephone number and his extension.
It seems right to me, Ray.
Well, how about that? I'm giving you. I'm just not saying anything. Give you some time to gloat.
Well, I don't know that that's really the way I feel about it. I'm glad that we finally have an Attorney General that is going to act like the Attorney General of Guam instead of sort of taking the path of least resistance on these things. So I'm going to say that it's good that Levin Camacho is taking the approach that he's taking. There is another shoe to drop, however, and that is that the same statutory scheme says that any public official who knowingly participated in one of those meetings has committed a misdemeanor. So I suppose it would be easy for someone to say, well, we just didn't know. But according to the PNC news story, both counsel for both the utilities were at that executive session. So it's pretty hard to say we didn't know when our lawyers were on board.
Somebody should have stood up as the legal counsel and said, wait a second, open government law, guys, we can't do this way.
Exactly.
And because neither one of them did, are those members of those boards, are they liable now, these counselors?
Well, I don't know that they are, but potentially the commissioners are.
It doesn't look like Lieben's headed off in that direction as much as he's just looking for a correction here. We're avoiding any salary adjustments, pay raises, etc. are void and must be paid back to the departments and agencies affected. But it doesn't say anything about him going after any of the counselors or after any misdemeanor charges.
No, that's correct. And I said that's another shoe that could drop. I don't know that it will or that it should. But it's really refreshing to see an attorney general who's out in front of an open government law violation, and instead of like the previous attorney general, kind of gets dragged into these things, kicking and screaming.
So we've got that going, and of course the Attorney General's office working with Daphne Schimmers over at the Department of Revenue and Taxation, taking on some of the complicated tax cases and trying to get those dollars into the government of Guam with interest and penalties this time. That's nice. Going after people that have written bouncy checks into the government of Guam, and that's nice as well. Are there any other items that you'd like to see the Attorney General's office going after? You know, Lieven listens to the program all the time, and I'm sure that you know, a little sage advice from Counselor and Judge Bob Klitsky go a long way to help setting the rest of the Attorney General's agenda for the year.
Well, I'm really encouraged by his stance on the open government law. And by the way, while we're talking about transparency, there's also a story that Acting Chief of Police Steve Ignacio was fined $1,000 for violating the Sunshine Law.
I had not seen that.
Yeah. That poor guy never has a nice day.
It doesn't look like it between, clinical psychiatrists and people looking at whether or not he's fit for the job, and now he's got this other thing. I've not yet made it through all of the news stories in front of me because of some of the other exciting late-breaking stuff that I've been playing around with. Senator Bob Klitsky, what you going to talk about on the radio today?
Well, I'm certainly going to revisit the matter of the CCU and the salaries, and attempt to head off any lame-brained attempts to salvage what is insalvageable. Some idea like, well, I don't know if you remember back when they did something similar with the day after Thanksgiving holiday.
I do.
And yeah, instead of having a meeting, they polled the members. And then later on, they had a regular meeting and they ratified what they had done. Well, when something is void, you can't ratify it. So I think it's necessary that it be understood that, no, you can't go back and do this effective January 1, and then people won't have to give the money back. Money has to be given back. And if the CCU is so bent on giving those raises, then they can do it in a properly called open meeting and take the inevitable heat that's bound to arise if they do it in public.
Yes, and the inevitable heat was in huge evidence the other day, Facebook and a variety of other sources where people are feeling free to put their editorial comments out there, wondering about all of this stuff. Well, certainly has been an interesting last couple of days for sure. Have you been taking apart the whole Mofness case and the misdeeds apparently of the parole board?
Well, yesterday I opined that Michelle Titano had been thrown under the bus by the governor, Leon Guerrero, not the other one, but the real one, because her term had apparently expired in December. So that position was ready to be filled, or Michelle could have been reappointed, either one. But the way the story was broke by the communications office was that she'd been jerked out of the position, sort of like fired and replaced, and that isn't what happened. The second thing I would say is this, that if you have a parole board, they are going to put people on parole. And at a time like this, after the Mofness matter, I think the tendency for people is to say, don't parole any of them, don't parole anybody. Well, if we aren't going to parole anybody, then we need to do away with the board.
Sure.
Because that's what they're there for. So we expect them to do it. We expect them to do a studied, workmanlike job, and we're certainly not in favor of mistakes like this Moffness matter coming up. But if we're going to parole people, if there's going to be a parole situation, it happens. So I thought that Michelle Titano was really thrown under the bus. It would have been just as easy to say her term has expired and we're reappointing somebody else instead of, it looked like, you know, Michelle, you screwed this up so bad.
You got to go.
Yeah, we've got this long staff with a hook on it, and we're just going to jerk you off stage and put somebody else in.
Yeah. So all evidence to the contrary, she was already on the way out, and maybe there are people that were using that as how do you want to say, almost kabuki. Here, look, we're taking some kind of action. We're not happy with the actions of the parole board. Michelle's got to go, even though she was already headed towards stage left.
That's the way it looked to me, Ray.
Okay. One last thing is, and it has nothing to do with so much with the law. Just your thoughts on the idea that, golly, after all of these years playing around with Dave Manning and the guys over at GBB, the Gershman, Brickner, Bratton, the relationship with the federal receiver looks like it is all done at the end of the month. What are your predictions for Guam Solid Waste Authority?
Well, unfortunately, I'm probably going to find a dark cloud for that silver lining, Ray. We have so much new, a new undertaking, a new board, a new bureaucracy. Everything is kind of like a bootstrap operation on something where large amounts of money are involved and a degree of federal oversight will remain. What I would have much preferred, Tom Atta had a bill to assign the whole solid waste operation to the CCU, and notwithstanding this
right,
the latest headlines.
Yeah, I mentioned that the other day, and Ken Leon Guerrero chimed in and said, "We were talking about the same CCU that illegally gave pay raises." All right, maybe that's not the smartest line of thinking, Gib.
Yeah, the timing for me to say this is probably not the best, but. At that time, I thought that would have been a good idea because the mechanisms are in place. We've had a pretty good quality of folks elected to those positions who seemed to be qualified and really wanted to do the work, and they had experience in operating utilities. I thought that would have been the way to go.
Yeah.
Instead of standing up another standalone board with all of the growing pains that board is bound to go through just to get somebody to take notes at the meeting, just the mundane parts of it,
Well, they've got some interesting financial leadership, too. You'll recall that Catherine, which law do you want me to break, Kakigi now works there.
Exactly. Yeah, the Kathy Kakigi kerfuffle.
Yes.
Solid waste.
Yes. I recall how much. I don't know. There's a line that they gave here at the end of the story in the Daily Post. No increases needed. No, and in my mind, I can hear George Bush Sr. saying, no new taxes. And I can hear Barack Obama saying, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. All of those things are echoing in my head as they're saying, no increase needed. Yeah.
Time for lip reading lessons again.
I got you. Hey, Judge, I'll talk to you pretty soon. Listen to you on the radio tonight.
Okay, Ray. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it. And thank Auntie Lou for the beetle nut. It is very, very good and well received.
I'll tell her. Thank you, Ray.
All right, buddy. 888-825-5888-TALK. 6:55 in the morning. And on the subject of beetle nut, real quick, I was seen recently, and we were out goofing off. We were fast hiking, and we finished up over at a beach. And I reached into my case, and I pulled out some beetle nut. And yes, it was like that. Budweiser in one hand, beetle nut in the other hand, and my friend, who is brown, from Guam, looked at me and said, "Oh my God, you're a chod." I'm like, what? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. But yeah, Auntie Lou's got some of the good stuff here. 6:55 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK. Man, look at all kinds of stuff, all kinds of people on Facebook Live this morning. Eric Adda, 6 max bed of bean sprouts. Going back to the opportunity that ERC is giving you to hydroponic whatever it is that you want to grow. Yeah, I'm going to buy me this system and grow bean sprouts and little tomatoes and Donny pepper. No, I don't think so, buddy. Richard Leo, GPA GWA will monitor for increased usage and information to sell. Not sure what that's in reference to. James Howard says, check out the new Guam Legislature live series at Howard EXPGU, where you can watch senators in action via YouTube streaming to Facebook Live through custom software. The series is called Your Tax Dollars at Work. And the twist for this live stream is you can leave comments in real time, which is something that I've been proposing on the air and pushing the guys over at the legislature to do with their YouTube channel. A lot of people watch the YouTube channel, and a lot of people have got interesting comments to say about the activities of the legislature when the YouTube channel is live for them. But do they allow comments? No, they don't allow comments. And I think, you know, if I was the guy that was running the legislature, as I was the speaker of the legislature, I would want to hear those comments. Now, sure, some of them is going to be, oh my God, I can't believe what a ditz so-and-so is. Or who did this guy, who did he pay off to get enough votes to get into the legislature? You're going to get those kind of comments. But you might also get commentary from people with vital interests in the outcomes of these measures and maybe some last-minute advice. You know, it would be a continuous public hearing. I can't think of anything more transparent than that. We do it every day here.
In watching the last legislative session that I watched, which was over the marijuana bill, they took so many recesses, and it became apparently clear that they simply can't do two things at one time.
So then that would leave, if they took a break, if they, you know, that would give ample opportunity for people that were watching on James Howard's little twisty channel there. That would give them ample opportunity to fill in the gaps with other comments about where they think the measure ought to go. I'm just saying it would be that much more fun, that much more adventurous to watch if we had the opportunity to leave comments. Rico Blancaflor with his commentary this morning. Nate Horn is online. Joe Leasealangi is on as well. Let me see. Rai Rice and Nicholas. I got Francis Santos. Therese Arroyo Matanani is there. Andy Henricks. Vicky Ganashis. Borja Duane Santos. Ron Buds. Delisai is on. Big Sister Shelley is there. And yes, that was Shelley and I at Mass yesterday. Not such a big deal to see Shelley there. I walked into the friary and all the statues turned around. I don't know what the heck happened. Is it okay if every once in a while I riff on things that kind of annoy me? So like I go to church and the priest says, you know, something, and when I was a kid it was, and also with you, and they changed that to, you know, and there's something in your spirit. And I just, you know, I used to know all the words to the Mass, and I don't anymore, and it's freaking me out. Anyway, just needed to get that off my chest. Thanks, appreciate it. Rudy Magallanes is there. Looking to see if there's any other cool comments. Renee Diaz-Punzalan in Los Angeles in La La Land saying hello. That's always nice to see. Ken LG, Lady D, Rob Salazar. Rob Salad Bar's on. I got Pat Bomba in there as well. James Howard says, Judge Bob sounds salty, but he's kind of chill. Well, it's early in the morning. He will get into full salty mode by 4 o'clock this afternoon. Joe Santos Servino, the PE, says, glad to see the AG is taking action on the CCU violation of the law on the pay increase. Not even warranted. Thank you, Bob Klitsky, for bringing this forward. Dave Torrey is online. And John Torres had an interesting question, not so much about tax refunds, but about the concept of some kind of government holding back, garnishment of some of the monies that would find their way into your potential tax refund. Yeah, my guess is they're going to be doing that in 2019. We can riff on that a little bit later on. Hey, I got news coming up next. Fox News Live in like 10 seconds. Kevin Kerrigan with a look at all the big stories on the other side of that. In the next hour, Rob McCallum from EOS Expeditions. This guy is going to send somebody into the Challenger Deep. More on that in minutes.
Fighting words from the president. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
We're fighting all the subpoenas.
President Trump accusing Democrats of playing politics with ongoing investigations and a string of subpoenas after the Mueller report.
The Democrats are trying to win 2020. They're not going to win with the people that I see, and they're not going to win against me.
Democrats say they have a duty to probe lingering questions from the Mueller report. The president says the focus now should be on getting things done, like cutting taxes and lowering drug prices. He is scheduled to meet with top Democrats next week on infrastructure. The Illinois parents who reported their 5-year-old son missing last week are now charged in his death. Fox's Gernal Scott has this live.
Lisa, local investigators have taken the mother and father of A.J. Friend into custody. Andrew Friend and Joanne Cunningham, when confronted with evidence, gave information to where to find the boy. Crystal Lake Police Chief Jim Black says law enforcement was sent to that area a few miles away.
Investigators located what they believe to be AJ's body, buried in a shallow grave wrapped in plastic in a remote area of Woodstock, Illinois.
Both parents have been charged with murder, battery, and failure to report a death, among other charges. Federal agents are also assisting in this case, Lisa.
Thanks, Colonel. Wall Street tapping the brakes as earnings reports continue. The Dow down about 59 points today. Facebook just announcing it's taking a $3 billion charge as a contingency against a possible fine by the Federal Trade Commission, which is probing a user privacy issue. Still, Facebook's revenue grew by 25% in the first quarter. Meantime, Microsoft, which also beat the street with its earnings report today, is getting close to being a $1 trillion company in market cap value. This is Fox News.
Howdy, folks. Colonel Sanders here to tell you about my KFC chicken and waffles. I paired my delicious KFC extra crispy chicken with a scrumptious waffle and drizzled maple syrup over the whole thing, and well. My.
Try our new KFC chicken and waffles, now on Guam, but only for a limited time. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll. Let's gallivant.
Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
More than a dozen suspects accused of trying to arrange sexual encounters with kids on social media under arrest in New Jersey.
The arrests range from a New Jersey police officer to a New York City high school teacher. 16 men nabbed in Operation Home Alone, where they thought they were talking to a 14-year-old.
They used apps like Kick, Scout, and Grindr to groom their victims and to lure them for sex.
New Jersey Attorney General Gurbir Grewal adding the predators didn't realize
they weren't talking to kids, but instead to our undercover officers.
Most of the defendants arrested at residence in Bergen County, where they had expected to find their victim home alone. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
Investigators urging parents to be vigilant and remind kids not to share any personal information with strangers online, even age or gender. How much screen time should kids under age 5 have? The World Health Organization says no more than an hour a day. Their first ever guidance on the issue, and they say less is better. Also recommending that children younger than 18 months avoid screens other than video chats. Less than 2 months after the abrupt ending to President Trump's second summit with North Korea's leader, a smiling Kim Jong-un arrives in Russia for his first ever meeting with President Putin.
It's happening in the port city of Vladivostok, which happens to be just across the border from North Korea, enabling Kim Jong-un to take his preferred means of transportation, his personalized, bulletproof, armored train. He was greeted by Russian officials, a whole bunch of Russian pomp and circumstance, as well as some North Korean security, traveling in his own limo, the first time that he has been in Russia.
Fox's Greg Palcott. Russian officials say the summit will focus on the North's nuclear program and seek to consolidate positive trends from President Trump's meetings with Kim. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamam. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Docomo Pacific's all-new business bundles provide tailored solutions to help your business become a better business. Choose from our Business Basic, Essential, or Value bundles and get unlimited talk and text, worry-free data at home and abroad, plus access to the fastest online speeds in the Marianas. Add on mobile or broadband lines and save up to 20% for each line. Email businesssales@docomopacific.com to find out which bundle provides the best solution for your business. Terms and conditions apply.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 7 a.m. this Thursday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The Guam Attorney General's office has informed the Consolidated Commission on Utilities that the salary adjustments approved for GPA and GWA executives during a closed-door meeting last November are void and must be rescinded. That message was delivered to the CCU by Attorney General Levin Camacho in a letter written to CCU Chairman Joey Duenas on Tuesday of this week. In his letter, Attorney General Camacho wrote that his office has reviewed the minutes of the November 27th CCU meeting, at which salary adjustments were discussed in executive session behind closed doors in violation of the open government law. Camacho states that any salary adjustments approved at that meeting are void, and any salary adjustments or bonuses paid as a result of the meeting must be paid back now by the employees. Among those receiving bonuses and pay raises at GWA were General Manager Miguel Bordallo, whose pay increased from $175,000 to $190,000 annually. He also got a $10,000 bonus approved by the CCU. GWA legal counsel Kelly Clark received a pay increase from $115,000 to $140,000 a year at that meeting. Over at the Guam Power Authority, General Manager John Benavente got a bonus of $25,000 on top of his annual pay of $225,000. Assistant General Manager of Administration at GPA Beatrice Limtiaco's annual salary went from $128,000 to $144,000. Again, the Attorney General of Guam has pronounced those pay raises and bonuses void and concluded that they must be paid back. In other news, Chief Judge Francis Tadenko Gatewood of the District Court of Guam has decided to end the 11-year federal receivership over Guam's solid waste and disposal services effective 5 p.m. April 30th. She announced her decision during a hearing yesterday morning in district court. She will issue a written order within a few days. On May 1st, for the first time since March 2008, the collection and disposal of the island's trash will be the responsibility of the government of Guam. Federal Receiver Gershman, Brickner, and Bratton will turn over day-to-day operational control to the semi-autonomous Guam Solid Waste Authority and its new general manager, Larry Gast. At a news conference following the court's announcement yesterday, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero declared that it is an historic day, a great day for the people of Guam. GSWA General Manager Gast said his team is ready. We're not going to be raising rates, he said, just to raise rates. If we keep the status quo, said Gast, we're going to be in good shape. In a statement to the Guam Daily Post, Federal Receiver Principal Associate David Manning said that the entire receiver team is pleased to have had the opportunity to build a modern solid waste system for Guam. He added that none of it would have been possible without the courage and leadership of Chief Judge Francis Tadenko Gatewood. We'll have more news after this.
Attention homeowners. MRE solar energy systems now come with battery storage for zero money down. This means that your home will have power even when the island power isn't available, like during power outages or during and after storms. The inconvenience of not having power for your home is a thing of the past. It's solar with battery storage exclusively by Micronesia Renewable Energy. Don't be left in the dark. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE. The smarter choice.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
11 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. Paul Santos Mafnis Jr. entered a plea of not guilty in Superior Court yesterday to allegations that he kidnapped and raped a 10-year-old girl in Tamooning earlier this month. Mafnis was indicted on 2 counts of first and second-degree criminal sexual conduct, attempted first-degree criminal sexual conduct, and kidnapping. He's also facing a special allegation of committing a crime against a vulnerable victim and possessing or using a deadly weapon while committing a felony. Mafnis is accused of forcing a schoolgirl into his vehicle, raping her, and then abandoning her into a Tamooning parking lot. Mafnis spent about 15 years in prison following his 1999 conviction on similar charges. He was released on parole in 2014. Mafnis appeared in court yesterday via closed-circuit TV from the Agana Detention Facility. He waived his right to a speedy trial. His next scheduled court appearance is set for June 4th before Judge Maria Senzon. Doyon Morato has been appointed by Governor Lou Leon Guerrero to serve on the board of directors of the Guam International Airport. Morato is a well-known businesswoman. She is currently the operations manager of the North Wind Group and the founder and CEO of Zori's Only, a local apparel company. Morato's nomination replaces the governor's earlier appointment of GTA executive Dan Tydenko to the airport board. The governor's communications director, Janela Carrera, said that Tydenko asked for his nomination to be withdrawn, and the governor agreed. Tydenko received strong support from a number of witnesses at his March 8th confirmation hearing. However, Senator Mary Torres questioned Tydenko's character and said she emphatically opposed his nomination to the airport board. Senator Talina Nelson, the chairperson of the legislative committee that has oversight over the airport, subsequently rejected Tydenko's nomination, citing Torres' testimony. The senator announced she would not advance Tydenko's nomination to the floor for consideration by the full legislature. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at weather.
Mostly cloudy today with isolated showers. Winds coming from the east, 15 to 20 miles an hour. Decreasing a bit overnight. Expected highs today, 89 hot degrees. Overnight lows, 77. Felt like 79 a little bit earlier this morning. But and muggy, too. Sunset tonight at 6:35. And we can expect the sunrise tomorrow morning about 6:01, maybe 6 o'clock straight at the rate things are going with all of that. Let me just refresh real quickly the radar page. So we've got a fresh image for Michael Knight to take a look at. Earlier, we were watching some rain washing over the island. It looks like most of that is dissipated, and we just got a little bit of chop on the backside.
Yeah, most of it's moved off to the west. We do have what looks like a round of shower is going to clip the north side up around Anderson, and maybe just a lingering shower or two down south where they really need it, because that's where all the fires have been breaking out.
Yep.
Behind this, not much expected. Of course, we do live in the western Pacific and Guam, and the conditions change minute by minute. One way you know that the moisture is increasing, and talking about this morning, is the fact that there was actually dew on the cars, but it was very warm. And that means that the dew point temperature was actually higher. And that's representative of more actual humidity and moisture in the air.
Okay, so what's happening with ocean temperatures? Because it's the warm ocean temperatures that could lead to additional storm activity over the year.
Absolutely.
Is that something that people are watching and waiting for, start seeing some stuff spin up?
Yeah, I haven't really looked at the sea surface temperatures myself. There are charts that you can look at. This is a time of year that the ocean does heat up because of what we see out here. We've got very clear skies, lots of sunshine radiating down onto the ocean, most of it direct sunshine. It's different in the summer than it is in the winter. And so, yeah, the water is starting to warm up a little bit. Nothing expected right now. We're talking about an El Nino year, so that means that anything it does form will probably get pretty strong, because they're going to have plenty of warm water to feed off of. But we'll have to get a little deeper into the season before we can start really getting those sorts of prognostications out there. Satellite shows us not much over us, just some instability in the trade wind flow. Nothing really to worry about. Blobage down to the south. We are caught in that squeeze play again with the low pressure to the south and a little high pressure to the north, which is why the winds will be 15 to 20 miles per hour with some gusts around 25 today, with extra care and caution with the fire danger up.
It's quarter after 7 o'clock in the morning. Plenty of weather there, and coming up, we'll take a look at what's going on in the market. Got bad news. Rob McCollum's on his way. But apparently getting out of Apple Harbor, transportation to get out of Apple Harbor and make your way into the downtown Upper Tumon area is harder than going to Challenger Deep.
You mean our world-class bus system can't get him here?
got people going, okay, wait, somebody got to go get the guy. We can make it to the highest spot on the planet and the lowest point of the sea, but getting out of Apple Harbor is a little bit tricky for them. They're working on it, though. So we'll get them in when we get the guy in. 7:15 in the morning, Jerry Robertson, the Extra Point, coming up after these.
Let's see now. Fast, easy, affordable. That's the best way to describe my home loan at Bank Pacific. Fast because we give quick decisions. Easy because we've cut back on the paperwork. Affordable because today's home loan rates are still so low. So see us today to refinance or consolidate or to buy or build your new home and save yourself some money.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Viva Bank Pacific.
Portions of the program brought to you by Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your specialty care needs. Micronesia Renewable Energy, never been a better time to go solar. And American President Lines, where they're shipping the future. Also brought to you by Joey and Jan and Dunge. Cars Plus, driven by you. What are they driving? Well, if it's got wheels and an engine, 2, 4 wheels, whatever, they've got one that is perfect for you and your pocketbook. Also brought to you by Wendy's. Have you tried the spaghetti over at Wendy's? Comes in a couple of different sizes. We got your snack size. We also got your dinner size. I like both of them. Find them today at the nearest Wendy's.
Getting you back to the talk faster. It's the Ray Gibson Show.
Want to look at the numbers here on the West Texas and mostly the Tapas. I don't want to look at the Tapas. I may just start with that 77.41 for a barrel of Tapas. And you might recall yesterday I was remarking rather sharply that it was up to 76.71. So it's gone up from yesterday, and I thought yesterday was pretty high.
I was passing gas stations this morning. I saw
You're passing gas what?
Passing gas stations this morning. I saw a lot of folks high-fiving inside it. I'm not sure what that was about.
It could be.
Maybe
Yeah,
this is, oh.
Yeah, but days here again, 65.89 if you were buying West Texas. That's actually down from yesterday's quote, 66.18 from yesterday, 65.89 for West. So we got West Texas moving south and Tapas making up for it by heading north. Let me take a quick look and see how the markets all did this morning. The S&P 500, 29.27. That's off by about 6.5 points. NASDAQ at 81.02, 18 or so points worth of red for them. Dow Jones Industrial Average, 59 points in the red, but still banging 26,597. In fact, all of the markets seem to be going backwards. I got FTSE off. The Nikkei is going to open at 22,200, which is down. The Hang Seng Index is in the red as well. Shanghai is up. The DAX is up. But for the most part, we're seeing a lot of mixed closings on the markets today. Tesla has missed their profit revenue estimates for the first quarter. But, dude, it's Tesla. It's one of the sexiest equities that are out there. They got those cars, and they got those big battery systems. And, I was talking about Micronesia Renewable Energy, the sponsors of the program, and they are talking about being able to get Tesla battery packs for your house. So the idea is you get the solar, and it goes into, I don't know, grid tie inverters and whatever you're not sending back to the power authority or otherwise using. It's used to charge your Tesla. And then when the sun goes down and you're not taking any electricity from the sun anymore, you go to the Tesla, and that's what runs your air conditioning and your refrigerator and your television, your smart TVs and modems and things like that.
I like it.
I know. It's like I said, never been a better time to go solar. And solar was always sexy, but when you combine solar with battery power, I mean, that's when it gets really sexy. That's when it gets to be, I don't care how hard the winds blow, as long as the panels stay up on the roof and as long as everything in my in-house version of the Ray Power Authority, as long as all of that stuff stays good, then, yeah, too bad for everybody else.
And if you can sell your excess power back to the GPA at full retail value, it's even better than that.
Well, let's talk about the value of solar and the value of batteries. They're actually going to be talking about that tonight. The
Really?
Public Utilities Commission Administration is going to be hearing from GPA and get their rate recommendations for how much GPA is going to compensate in credit to these people who have got their meters going backwards.
Yeah, I know.
Right now, it's 1 for 1, but they're looking at it and saying, yeah, maybe we'll just we'll give you back just a LEAC charge. We'll just give you the fuel offset, and then we'll call it a day.
Even though back in the mainland, most of the power utilities pay the full retail value.
There's something like that, yeah. So it kind of depends on what you consider the value of solar, and you get these companies that will do these studies and say, well, you know, the value of solar is this because we don't need to buy some fuel. Obviously, the value of solar is this because we don't need to hire as many people to run a fuel farm or whatever, because somebody, you know, we've got this dispatched distributed sources of electricity coming in. We don't have to pay regulatory because we're not building anything that requires EPA to come in and take a look at it. So there's all kinds of numbers that go into, that factor into the value of solar, which they read. They read a report. I read a report that talked about what the value of solar was going to be for Guam, and still GPA says, yeah, just the fuel. We'll just offset the fuel.
Yeah, we got. Okay, well. You know,
so the guy from with the 5 Challenger dives, right, the 5 dives guy is
on the way.
Apparently on the way. That's the word I'm getting. Is a little bit of trouble getting him out of APRA, and then he's going to be in. And among the things, Rob McCollum is the name of the fella, and it's what we talked about yesterday. It's what we talked about yesterday. What are you guys looking at each other about? What is that?
He needs to fix his camera. His head is chopped off on video.
Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry.
Well, normally that's the first thing you look at. Next time, just open the mic and say, fix Jerry's camera. And then we'll know.
That's all right.
Okay. Because I was wondering.
Well, you're on a roll, bro. I didn't want to stop you.
I was, yeah.
Hey,
preach, baby.
Before you get to Rob.
Yeah.
Because he's coming in.
On the way.
What a great, it's been last 2-3 days, it's been great for government news. I mean, Regine Bisco-Lee slashes taxes, right? That was good. I like that. And then Levin Camacho, a man so awesome, Elton John wrote a song about him. Okay. And future Governor Levin Camacho.
Right.
Okay, goes ahead and says, no, you can't operate like this. Okay, I like it.
Out of the park, that one.
Yeah,
out of the park. Everybody, started
but
got to lay the credit where the credit is due. Bob Klitsky's the guy that looked at that and said, I don't think that was done quite legally. In fact, I'm pretty sure, based on the layman's read of the open government law, that was not done legally. And Levin Camacho decided, you know what, I think I'm going to join him in the investigation of the open government law.
And he didn't wait very long. He came right down with it. And then...
Well, the language is pretty clear. Under no circumstances.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Judge Tadinko Gatewood came out and said, right, with the
end of the receivership. Solid waste
and
receivership
then,
is over.
What's the guy's name? They came out and said we're not raising rates.
No, the new guy.
The new guy.
What's his name? Gast.
Gast. We're not going to raise rates just to raise rates. I mean, think about this.
Yeah.
It's a whole new day.
Look, I don't know the guy, right? So I'm ready to give him the benefit of the doubt when he says we're not going to, no increase is needed right now. But like I said, when I was talking to Bob Klitsky about it, in my head, I'm hearing George Bush say, read my lips, no new taxes. I can hear Obama saying, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. It's not a tax. It's a tax. Supreme Court said so. I just,
I felt so good for just a moment.
I know, but somebody's got to be every once in a while, somebody's got to be the frowny, and Mike's going to frowny about something else, but I felt like I had to write that reality check.
No, actually, I'm not going to frowny about anything. Thursday Bitcoin update, though.
Oh.
Right now at 54.36 and 92 cents. That is down a bit from a high of 56.14 just a day or so ago. So it's actually peaked really nicely there, and now it looks like it's back on a slight downward trend.
As some of them are. All right. Do I have any other businessy things here that need to get taken care of?
Rob McCallum, you were saying.
He's on his way in.
Okay.
But no, I was asking you yesterday. I mean, the idea, project management.
Yeah.
Can you imagine project management at the level this guy operates at? Right? I mean, it's not just any ordinary. It's not fishing. It's not a fishing expedition. We're going to take a human being all the way down to the deepest point on the earth,
well,
and then hopefully bring him back up alive.
Yeah, but this isn't like the first time. This is like the third of the fifth of 5 destinations, right?
If you go to their website, it's 5deeps.com, and and this is a very well done website, by the way. They've got a live map, so you can see where where the ships associated with this expedition are, and obviously it's at Apra right now. But and one of the first questions I want to ask the guys, it looks like he went. They've already done kind of a tour of the Southern Marianas Trench. They went by that on the way to APRA, and it was kind of out of the way. So they were coming up from the bottom, but it tells you all about the expedition, the incredible technology that they are using with these deep submergence vehicles, and one is, I think the primary one is called limiting factor, and which is amazing because apparently there are no limiting factors. The bio on the unit is it's the only human occupied vessel that can visit any place in our oceans at any depth and from virtually any properly equipped ship. The sub provides an incredible platform for science, filmmaking, and exploration. I wonder what one of these things costs. Oh. Can we get one over at Cars Plus? What do you want to do? The guy said anything with the motor. I think this thing has got a motor on it.
Just about $4 million per paycheck.
Could be, yeah. 726. Hey, we got to take care of the extra point. Here's Jerry Roberts, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and our friends over at First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
You're applying for a new job. You've heard they pay pretty well, and the bosses are cool, and you're breezing through your interview. Then they ask that question. I'm Jerry Roberts, and I'll tell you what that one is and then how to answer it next on The Extra Point.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Hey, are you ready to afford the good life? For example, cooking in a gourmet kitchen that is as amazing as your skills. Or how about paying off tuition? Or maybe expanding your home to make room for your parents. Live beyond your dreams, within your means, with a low-rate home equity line of credit from First Hawaiian Bank. To learn more or to apply, visit any branch or FHB.com. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
HR managers and job interviewers like to toss in brain teaser type questions when meeting with a prospective new hire. It gives them a chance to see how the candidate reacts when confronted with something unexpected. Here are some questions actual companies, some of them very big name companies, have asked in their job interviews. Why are manhole covers round? How many golf balls fit inside a Boeing 747? Explain the internet to someone coming out of a 30-year coma. My question is more straightforward, but many people find it challenging to come up with a good answer for it. Here we go. The interview has gone pretty well, and then you get this question. Why do you want this job? Why do you want this job? You have just seconds to come up with your answer. Why do you want this job? Because this is a great company, and I've wanted to work here my whole life. Nope. Because you're the kind of leader who can develop my skills. I don't think so. Because I'm seeking a challenging environment that offers me the opportunity to use my specific skills to help an organization achieve its goals and objectives. I'd hire you just to be able to fire you for saying that. Now, here's the thing they want to know. Are you looking for any old job, or have you thought this through? Is it just about the money? Do you just want to work here because you think it'll look good on your resume? Here's how to score points with your answer to this question. Number one, make good eye contact when giving your answer and come across in an engaging manner. Make sure your response sounds, and here's the A word, authentic. Even if you've rehearsed your answer for days, it has to seem like the words just popped up. Number two, say why the company appeals to you. Maybe you like their reputation, market position, or their aggressive posture. Number three, you can say you feel your unique skill set matches up well with the company and direction of the organization, or well with the job, rather. This answer will be stronger if you've asked the interviewer questions on the plans and goals of the organization. 4, say how you feel the job will help you grow and advance your career goals. Why you want to frame your answer and how you fit well with the job requirements and your desire desire to be part of a great team, it's fine to show how you feel you will benefit. It's honest, and that counts. And 5, if you get a question like this, come up with a solid paragraph that sells them on you. Be prepared to tell the interviewer you're excited about the opportunity, and mean it. They don't hear that word very often, at least often enough from applicants. Finally, like I said before, don't leave before you ask for the job. And I hope you get it. That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
Why do you want to work here? Because the judge made me get a job. That's why I got. That's why I got.
It was either this one or the
Yeah,
military, and they ain't taking me.
Yeah, I know how to do things. Talk on the radio and steal cars. That's and the judge doesn't want me doing that anymore. So he said, "You got to take the talk radio gig." Gibb, sorry about that. Some interesting points there that you are making in today's Extra Point. Jerry Roberts, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank. Time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post and Kevin Kerrigan.
Day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, in district court yesterday, former Revan tax employee Lourdes Fernandez Blas admitted to fraudulently issuing driver's licenses in exchange for bribes. The 47-year-old Blas pleaded guilty to a charge of unauthorized access of a protected computer in furtherance of fraud. She was arrested 3 years ago on allegations that she bypassed the driver's license examination process and issued licenses in exchange for cash payments ranging from $500 to $700. Blas faces a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison, 3 years of supervised release, and a fine of $250,000. Her sentencing will take place at a yet-to-be-announced later date. Attorney David Lujan is objecting to what he calls the fire sale of one of the valuable real estate assets owned by the Archdiocese of Guam. Lujan represents the vast majority of the sexual abuse claimants who have filed lawsuits against the island's Catholic Church seeking hundreds of millions of dollars in damages that will have to be paid by the sale of assets owned by the Archdiocese. Lujan filed notice of his objection in district court, citing the proposed sale of the former Axion Hotel that was once used as a seminary. It's up for sale for only $5.4 million. Lujan says no appraisal was done before the sale price was set. He pointed out that earlier offers for the property had ranged from $6.5 to $7.5 million. Lujan also objected to the 5% commission sought by RE/MAX, the real estate agent, saying it is exorbitant. Hundreds of people stood along roadsides in dozens of locations across the island yesterday afternoon to say enough to the sexual assaults that have victimized many of the island's underage children and young adults. The walkout took place at 5:05 p.m. Residents left their homes and place of work and stood by the side of the road to hold up their hands, as well as holding up signs on which the word enough was written. The walkout was organized by the Guam Family Justice Center Alliance, many of whose members have been victims of sexual abuse themselves. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Thank you, Kevin Kerrigan. 7:33, and that is iConnect time. There's an iConnect near you, or call them at 888-8888 and tell them that you've had it with high prices and mobile and internet plans, and they'll talk you down and get you into a plan that you are going to fall in love with at iConnect.
Attention homeowners, MRE solar energy systems now come with battery storage for zero money down. This means that your home will have power even when the island power isn't available, like during power outages or during and after storms. The inconvenience of not having power for your home is a thing of the past. It's solar with battery storage exclusively by Micronesia Renewable Energy. Don't be left in the dark. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE. The smarter choice.
The GCC Votech Class of 79 is back. Join them on April 27th at the Onward Beach Hotel for a night of dinner, dancing, skits, and reminiscing. It's been 40 years since graduation, so take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime chance to relive the memories. There's also a memorial mass on Friday, the 26th, at the Santa Teresita Church. Be there at 5:30 for candle placement in honor of classmates who've gone before. Tickets for the reunion on the 27th are on sale for $40 a person. For details, find Connie Kittigwa St. Nicholas at 488-6108 or Kathy Diaz, 777-3243. Viva 79ers! Right on. 888-825-5888-TALK. What have I got here? 7:34 in the morning, and enough time here to cut through the right now traffic. Taking a look at the traffic gizmo. What's it like at drive time? Well, what do you think it's going to be like at drive time? Traffic heading up to Anderson Air Force Base in the red right now. A little bit of a line of traffic as you make your way through there. A little bit of northbound traffic as well, closer to the schools. Weird. And then you make your way down south, and you should be all right. Clear into and past the Micronesia Mall. That doesn't mean that you're going to stop. You're not going to stop. I mean, we've got intersections there. It looks like there's a little bit of a backup around the schools and towards Guam Regional Medical City as you make your way towards the intersection of 1 and 3. Don't see too much packing up on 16. 8, 10, and 16 is looking all right up until you pass the intersection southbound, and then it doesn't busy up again until you get to around the McMobile and on your way into to Harvest. After that, fairly smooth sailing. Seeing the same things on Route 10 and the intersection of 10 and 15. Busy there. 4 and 10 is busy, and there are portions of Sinahanya. Oddly, it looks like where the accident was yesterday. It looks like there's some traffic that is slowing down, moving through that valley and then up into the Sinahanya area. Once you're into town, just expect some delays over at the intersections because the intersections in the downtown Agutnya area suck. 7:36. That's right now traffic on the point.
Docomo Pacific's all-new business bundles provide tailored solutions to help your business become a better business. Choose from our Business Basic, Essential, or Value bundles and get unlimited talk and text, worry-free data at home and abroad, plus access to the fastest online speeds in the Marianas. Add on mobile or broadband lines and save up to 20% for each line. Email businesssales@docomopacific.com to find out which bundle provides the best solution for your business. Terms and conditions apply.
Get a Coke 12-pack for only $3.49 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a dozen extra-large eggs for only 49 cents when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a case of Circle K water for only $2.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Here we are, 7:37. I was joking earlier. You know, we can find a way to get a deep submersible into the deepest spot on the planet, but we can't get 3 guys out of Apra Harbor. But finally got them.
We're finally here.
Yeah, I like that. So I'm gonna be a little bit starstruck here because of the nature of the technology and the nature of the expeditions that these guys are on, and also a little bit starstruck because in the studio with Rob McCallum, Alan, the chief scientist, is here as well. But a fellow named Don Walsh. Good morning, Don. Pleasure to have you.
Good morning to you.
Welcome back to Guam.
Yeah, I lived here for 9 months back in late 50s. When we were doing the deep dive of the Trieste.
You were on the Trieste.
I was pilot.
You're the guy.
Well, Jacques Picard and myself were co-pilots.
Yeah, but I mean, you went all the way down.
Yep.
An unprecedented inner space. Nobody had ever done that.
We ran out of ocean, and there was the bottom.
So let's go take a look.
Yeah, and then I was back 2012 with Jim Cameron on his expedition.
Well, it's the first time that you and I have had a chance to meet. I just got to say what a great honor it is to have you in the studio to talk about this. There's not too many people. I mean, more people have been to the moon than have been where you've gone.
There are only 2 people alive today that have been there, and Jim Cameron and myself. Jacques Picard, my co-pilot, died a few years ago, so there it is.
It's a big question with a small question, big answer here, but what's changed since the Trieste?
Let me answer that with a question. If you were to put Orville Wright in front of a Boeing 747 and say, what's the difference between your airplane and this one? That's a university course.
Yeah.
4-unit course.
How'd you prep for that?
I didn't. I learned by doing. It's like in the early days of aviation, only 2 airplanes in the world. There are only 2 of these things in the world. So you wrote the book yourself. So that way you could never make any mistakes.
No, because there's only 1 or 2 mistakes you can make, and they're all fatal.
Well, yeah, self-correcting.
Yeah. As opposed to self-healing. I think that's the technology that we've got here today. Yeah. So how'd you get together with these guys in the 5 deeps?
Well, I've known Rob McCallum, who's kind of the EL running this particular expedition, since about 2002. Would that be it, Rob?
Yeah, that's correct.
We circumnavigated the Antarctic for 74 days.
Just toss it out here. What'd you do? What were you up to? We're just circumnavigating
Well,
the
you asked the
Antarctic.
question. I'm just trying to answer. Well, we circumnavigated the Antarctic on a Russian icebreaker, 73-day trip, round trip out of New Zealand. And he was aboard with the expedition staff, as I was. And that's where it started. So we've intersected over the years on various projects. And when he told me about this thing, when they finally kind of made it public, he kindly invited me to join. And so I'm just a ceremonial object. No, on this trip. You know,
You're not doing any work?
No, I'm a member of the chorus. I show up for meals and smile a lot.
You're the only one that knows the way.
Well, true.
What's that? You just kind of do this here. There's a good spot. Well, I know. I was looking at the map here, and it looks like you guys have already done a little bit of reconnoitering, haven't you?
That's right. We're on basically a year-long expedition to put a man to the deepest point of each of the world's 5 oceans, and this is number 4.
Where have you already been?
We started in the Puerto Rican Trench, which is about 8,400 meters deep. And then we went down to the Antarctic.
Could you do the math and tell me what that is in miles? Because I know that with the Challenger Deep, it's about 7, right?
It's about
7 and change.
27,000 feet.
It's over 5 miles, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a long way.
Okay, but we've got the good one here.
Yes, you do.
We've got the really good one.
Yes, you do. But you have a Challenger. You know, we after here we go to the Tongan Trench, and that is also a very, very deep trench. So there's not much in it.
Right.
But at the moment, you are the deepest.
So what's the point of the expeditions? You were talking a second ago at the circumnavigation of Antarctica, and now we're talking about these 5 deeps. What do you hope to accomplish with this? I mean, just to push the technology?
I think there's 3 things. The first one is that, you know, one man had a vision to get to the deepest point of each of the world's 5 oceans, and he's on his way to doing that. I think the broader vision is to develop the technology so that humans have the ability to get to any place in the ocean at any time, which we haven't had before. And I think thirdly, and most importantly, is the science. Because we've never had a platform to get to these places, we've never been able to study them. And so, you know, my favorite person on board is Dr. Alan Jameson, who's here with us this morning, because you know, it's the lasting legacy of this expedition will be the science that he achieved.
Yeah, so it's not just getting there. I mean, there's got to be, you know, we got to have some kind of deliverable besides little tiny coffee cups that get shrunk from big coffee cups, and some of the other stuff that you guys were showing off in the last trip that you came down here. I was telling everybody about. We did an interview, and one of the ladies comes over, and she's got this a wig stand, and then they had taken it to depth, and what should have been about the same size as a human skull was about the same size as a Barbie doll skull. You've got all kinds of pressures that lean into these kinds of things. Well, we'll get around to some of the science and all of this stuff, but there's kind of a sustainability. You know, we're talking about rocket launches, and they just did SpaceX just a week ago, where they were actually able to bring the rocket that went up and land it. So we're talking about a certain kind of sustainability here and a repeatability in what happens. You guys are looking kind of at the same thing.
We do like to not only get to the bottom, but to come back.
Right, and it just go bouncing up and down at the same time.
It's like a two-way street. Yeah. It's only a success if we bring the sub back to the surface.
Do you, Alan? Do you ever want to live down there? Is that one of the things that would be, you know, kind of a holy grail here? Is we've gotten down to the deepest point in any of the oceans, and we'd like to stay.
I wouldn't say I would like to live there. It's not the nicest of places.
It's dark and cold.
It's like Scotland.
The sub's big. Yeah. Yeah, it's like being at home, you know, I'd rather be in Guam.
That's funny. That's funny. But what is some of the science? What are your scientific deliverables? I mean, you've got somewhere there's a laptop and a keyboard down there. What is it that you're tapping into and trying to get out?
We've done a whole bunch of work here already. So 5 years ago, we came out here with another vessel, and we did 45 lander deployments across Serena Deep, just south of Guam. And we discovered the deepest living fish here. We discovered what's called a supergiant amphipod. We've collected all sorts of new species from here already, and then we came back 2 years ago with the Japanese.
What do they
vessel.
taste like?
I wouldn't know, but I'd imagine like eating cockroaches with a sort of marine flavour.
Somebody's got to ask, right?
Yeah, everyone has. And what we're doing on this one is the ship we have is equipped with the best acoustic system in the world, so we can map the bottom of the trench to an incredibly high resolution. So we'll be able to offer up this really nice high resolution map of the area. What the sub can do that we can't normally do with our lander vehicles is to move around. I mean, what we really want to do is move up the slope and look at some of these big geological features, because Mariana is really fascinating. It's really complex. So we get our guy down to the deepest point and we'll tick that box. And then once that's done, we're going to try and move around a little bit and try and learn more about the geology and the biology of these.
Now, that is an interesting distinction. So any of the other bounces that you have done have been exactly that. We get down to the bottom and kind of look around a little bit and then go up. But this one here has got some mobility on it.
That's right. And I think that's the biggest single jump from the machine, the vehicle that Don used back in 1960 and this one. So, you know, the Trieste was essentially a large, metal balloon filled with gasoline, which was the buoyancy aid they used. And so the maneuverability of the craft was relatively limited, not only in getting it to the dive site, but also, during the dive. Whereas the vessel that we have is relatively small, relatively light. We can put it on any ship of opportunity, take it to any place, and once it's down there, it's free swimming and highly maneuverable. So it is a great platform for science or for filmmaking, or in this case, for private adventure.
You say free swimming, but it's still tethered. You still
it's no tether.
There's no tether. You don't have a
there's
no string attached to this.
There's no strings attached. Huh. And to be honest, if you are looking at trying to have some kind of tether arrangement through 7 miles of seawater, it would be a huge drag.
Yeah,
so,
I guess.
The sub is always free swimming.
I'll be darned. So how does the guy at the bottom, if there's a problem, I got to use the bathroom or we're out of fuel, how do you get the message back to the top that I'm heading up?
We have multiple systems of redundancy on every one of the major sort of operational factors. So to get to the surface, essentially all he has to do is to drop weight, to drop his ballast weights.
Like a diver.
So he can do that. If he doesn't do that, it will happen automatically. And if it doesn't happen automatically, we can command the vehicle to do that on his behalf. So we have to fight to keep the vehicle down there. It naturally wants to return to the surface.
As most things would at that kind of, as we say, at that kind of depth. Does the weather play a part in your selection of these locations?
Yes.
Straight out, yeah. My guy in the other room here is a big weather guy, and so I have to think that your timing to get to Guam about April and early May is not an accident.
No, it's a very difficult thing, doing the round-the-world trip, trying to judge the weather, and I think the worst one so far has been Antarctica. We need pretty good sea state to do this. So we need pretty flat calm seas, and some of the places we have to go are just not very nice. And, in Southern Ocean, we did the dive, we got it in, and it wasn't pleasant, to be honest. Whereas Indonesia was wonderful.
Sure. Well, now you're in Guam, and we've got a Kmart.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So whatever you need for the expedition, we got a Kmart. You can just roll right over there. And so one of the things I take away from your bio in particular, Rob, is that you have planned these expeditions. You've been to the Titanic. We went looking for the Bismarck. All of those kinds of things. What goes into the planning? I'm a planning guy, managing partner of the radio station. Every once in a while, I'll load myself up a project and kind of mind map my way through it. What's your process as you put together a project that is going to take somebody 7 miles down to briny depth and bring them back?
Absolutely. It's complicated. And this one started 4 years ago with someone saying, I've done this, the highest peak in each of the 7 continents. Now I want to get to the deepest point of each of the world's 5 oceans. What's involved? It's like, well, step one, you've got to build a submarine because there wasn't one. So that's taken the longest time. And then you've got to find a ship.
We got to talk about No Limits, though. Why did you name it?
Why is it named the limiting factor?
Yeah, limiting factor is the name of it.
Victor Vescovo, who is the founder, the pilot, has a deep love of a series of science fiction books. So each of the tenders and things that we operate off have been given names out of that book series. So
limiting factor.
Limiting factor.
But in its own biography on your website, there apparently are no limits. There is no place under the water that it cannot go.
That's true. It's been pressure tested to, so the Mariana Trench is about 11,000 meters, and we've pressure tested this to 14,000 meters. So the
So
reason
you
we've done that...
Got some built-in Jesus there, don't you?
That's right. The reason we've done that is because we wanted to have this independently classed and certified as a full ocean depth vehicle. So now that we've taken it beyond its maximum operating limits and shown that it's safe, now we have this vehicle that can be used anywhere in the world by virtually anyone.
Could I buy it?
Yes.
Because I dropped my watch when I went diving one day, and I'm sure it's still down there. I'd like to be able to go get it, but it's beyond the sport diver depth.
Yeah, it's for sale.
Really?
Yes.
Well, everything is for sale.
Yes.
Do you know for how much?
I'm sorry. Well, that's the next question. Is what do you suppose it would go for?
$48 million?
$48 million for
$48 million
for the whole package.
Can I get it in red?
Yes, you can.
Can I have the Tesla guys do some work on it as well?
Yeah.
Listen, tell me about the technology inside of it. I mean, it can't be just, because when you went down, it was basically just the bell, wasn't it? What did you have on board when you went down in the Trieste?
Well, to be perfectly frank, Jacques Picard and I were two test pilots, two engineers. We're not scientists.
Right.
Our job was to test this platform, which the Office of Naval Research had purchased to be used for oceanographic research work. And we had to test it to the ultimate limit and figure out that it was productive and safe to use. So our job was to make that deep dive, come back up, and fix whatever needed to be upgraded or fixed, and then hand it over to the scientists. So we measured temperature, profile, and some other stuff, but that wasn't our primary mission. Our primary mission was to vet the system. It's like when Boeing builds a new airplane. They have company test pilots, and they fly it around. You don't take it straight over the terminal and load passengers.
Right.
So we were test pilots.
Was there a lot of tech, though, on it? I mean, you talk about thermometers and things like that to get some basic readings, but was there...
Well, there are only two of these things in the world, so everything is on it. We had to think of and build or have built for us. There weren't any stores you could go to buy bits and pieces.
Well, we didn't have a Kmart back then at the time either. Now, was the Trieste used extensively after your tests?
The U.S. Navy used bathyscaphs for a quarter of a century as a way to get to the deepest places in the ocean. They actually had three of them. Trieste, which we purchased from the Swiss family Picard, and then the U.S. Navy built two additional ones. So for a quarter century, it was the only way you got into the deep ocean. And it was used by proper research scientists, but that wasn't our role. Yeah.
As far as the testing is concerned, you've got obviously something that you are going to be using in these deep dives that you're going on. But I mean, is it if I can't buy it for $48 million, because I think I could come up with the dough. I know a couple of guys at the bank. 45. Yeah. But now if I can't come up with it, can I rent it? As I said, I mean, is there an opportunity for somebody? I mean, you went out looking for the Air France, that particular flight. Are there other opportunities where you can use something like the limiting factor to go and aid in salvage operations?
I think limiting factor is what it is. It's a prototype. I would expect that in 10 years you'll see somewhere between 3 and 5 of these vehicles available around the world, and they'll be used for all sorts of things. For science, for exploration, for filmmaking, for private adventure, whatever it is that people want to do in the very, very deepest parts of our world's ocean.
And that's what we're talking about here is a private adventure. And so tell me about the fella.
Victor is a very interesting guy. He's.
I mean, you're the star of the show here, but because it's fascinating. But the guy that is putting together this expedition, trying to make it to the deepest spots in the planet.
He's very mission orientated. He just simply wanted to go to the bottom of each of the world's 5 oceans because he could not believe that it was not possible, that it had not been done. He was a great admirer of Don and of Jim Cameron. But, they both did the big trench, the main trench, but not the other oceans. And so Victor couldn't believe that nobody had done that already. So that's what drives him. Along the way, his curiosity has taken him into Alan's world, the world of science, and the world of filmmaking. But he's primarily driven about just wanting to prove that it can be done.
Just get it. I've had an idea in my head. How did it come to him? Did he tell you? Is it just a lark?
No, it was, he'd done the 7 summits, and then he did what we call an explorer's grand slam. When you do the 7 summits and then you go and do the North Pole and the South Pole, what's next? And about that time, we had just finished Jim Cameron's dive to the Mariana Trench, and he said, I'd like to do something like that.
Yeah.
And then in researching, he found that nobody had been to the other 4 oceans. So he approached Triton Submarines, which is a small submersible manufacturer in Florida, and asked them could they build one, and they said, yes, we can, and they have. And so
here we go.
Over the last 9 months, we've been going through all these sea trials, and we've been operational since December and diving our little hearts out.
On and underway. What do you guys do for recreation on the boat?
We don't get a lot of time, to be honest.
The most fun they're going to have on this trip is right here, right now.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, for the Challenger Deep, it's a very, very deep trench. And so what has changed since 3 weeks ago when we did the Java Trench is that now it's an extra hour and a half to 2 hours of transit time from the surface to the bottom. So the first thing we do every day is we launch the landers. These are like the little robots that go down and measure the density of seawater, the temperature, all the information we need to properly inform the sub.
I just learned in my research that the density of the seawater changes the deeper you go.
That's right.
Which is kind of fascinating.
Luckily, we have a professor of oceanography here to tell us exactly how that's going to work.
We can do the numbers here.
But we launch the landers at probably 3:30 in the morning on this occasion, and then we'll launch the sub at 8 in the morning. We get the sub back just after sunset. We get the landers back at 9 or 10 at night.
Mm-hmm.
It takes 2 or 3 hours to sort of get everything packed away, squared, ready for the next day. So if you're working 18 hours a day, 20 hours a day, there's not a lot of time.
And leave much time to binge on Game of Thrones or anything like that.
Right.
I got you. Now, is there somebody filming all of this that's going on? Do you have somebody documenting on video all of the comings and goings? Will there be some kind of a documentary down the road or something I'll be able to watch on the National Geographic Channel?
Yes, there will be 5 one-hour documentaries on the Discovery Channel.
Mm-hmm.
And we would expect that to come out later this year or early next year.
Okay. You guys you get a cut of that?
I don't think anyone gets a cut out of movie making these days.
So, I wanted to ask the questions. What kind of dough do you guys make on expeditions like this? I mean, obviously not doing it for free. That's a nice watch you got there.
We're not doing it for free, but nor is it a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a very, very expensive undertaking. And I think, because this is a prototype, in the future there will be the opportunity for people to make money by commercializing this. But at the moment, we're just cruising around in a prototype test vehicle.
Well, I'm always thinking about opportunities. We got a lot of Japanese and Korean tourists around here, and that would make a nice little excursion, a side excursion. Go shopping over, as I said, the Kmart, and we'll go and stay at the Dusatani. And when we're not doing that, we'll go and hire Rob to take us down to the bottom of the trench.
Yeah, I mean that's in the future. I mean, people being able to take a commercial ride to full ocean depth is absolutely a future possibility.
What's the next adventure for you? I mean, as you're laying in your bunk at night thinking about the 18 hours ahead of you tomorrow, you ever sit back and go, but what I'd really like to be doing is...
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky question. We run about 50 expeditions a year, and they're for people who have very active minds, and so they're always coming to us with new ideas. So Victor's next idea is going to be, even more amazing than this.
Yeah.
But all of our clients are of a similar vein.
Well, you got it's been to the peaks, now to the bottom of the ocean, and the North and the South Pole. I mean, what's next is actual outer space, isn't it?
Yes, we've been taking people to space for about 15 years, up to the International Space Station. There's a lot of interest in people doing these sort of suborbital flights, 4 or 5 minutes of zero gravity. But I think in the fullness of time, you'll start seeing people getting further afield.
I've obviously got eyes on that as a deal that has been struck between the Air Force here and our Guam International Airport, working with Richard Branson, the guys over at Virgin, and they're going to start sending satellites from a spaceport here on Guam up into space, and it's not that big a jump to say, I'm going to put a satellite into orbit, and maybe we'll see if we can put a human into orbit as well, and see what the next big deal is for you. I was talking about what ifs and things like that. What would you like to see out of this? What is it that is your holy grail, Alan?
I'd like to see more of these types of vehicles in the water. I mean, there's so few in the world that if I wanted to get a hold of one right now, it would take 3 years before I even saw it.
Right.
So just more vehicles that are available. Personally, what I would like to do is to fill in all the big white spaces in the oceans. Like the Pacific is so huge.
Mm-hmm.
You look at where people have actually worked, and there's areas like 15 times the size of Australia, which have never been looked at. So for me, doing some huge expedition from, let's say, the Arctic to the Antarctic, right down the middle of the Pacific.
And map the whole thing.
Map the whole thing.
Find a good spots for a house, farm, things like that. Mr. Walsh, I just what you're a living legend, I suppose.
I'm living.
Well,
the legend part I leave to others.
What about you? What do you still want to do? What's on your list? What's on your bucket list? I'm going to tell you right now, we're going into news late here because it's not like every day I get a chance to talk to guys like this. So
you want me to read the news?
No, it's if you like to. It's the big news here is Red Lobster is hiring. We're getting a Red Lobster. So the next time you guys come out, we have some good seafood for you. Maybe even some of that stuff that James Cameron's pulling in from the Challenger Deep.
You got any Hooters ads there?
Oddly, this is like the one place on the planet where the Hooters didn't do well enough to stay open. Can you imagine that?
My goodness.
But the guy over there will tell you about the Tourist Nightclub.
People are numb from the waist up.
Club USA, I'm thinking. Anyway.
Yes, sir.
Sailor. Never mind, because now I know the answer to the question. I know what's on your bucket list.
No. I would like to go have a look at the ocean from space. I was supposed to be on one of the space shuttle missions because I did my doctorate, master's degrees in remote sensing oceanography working with NASA. And I used to brief the Apollo astronauts before they take their missions. And NASA offered Navy the opportunity to nominate the first oceanographer in space. And they looked around for me, and I'd already retired. So next life. But that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to get out there and have a look.
From up there?
Yes, sir.
Isn't that amazing? And an amazing bunch of people here. You want to talk about the adventures, and there are still adventures out there. I've got 3 people in the studio that are living proof of it.
Even for octogenarians.
I don't even know how big that number is.
It's too big in my view.
Same here. You sit around and you go, well, there's no more time in this life. We'll have to plan out stuff in the next. And when it comes to planning, I'm going to call Rob McCollum for that. The radio station is KUSG Gutnia. We're late into Fox News, and I don't care. Here it comes.
In violation of a 2011 agreement promising to protect user privacy, but has not announced any findings yet. Wall Street at the close, the Dow fell 59, the Nasdaq lost 18. This is Fox News.
Attention homeowners, if you don't have a solar energy system on your roof from Micronesia Renewable Energy, now is the time to get one. MRE Solar Energy Systems now come with battery storage for zero money down. This means that your home will have power even when the island power isn't available, like during power outages or during and after storms. The inconvenience of not having power for your home is a thing of the past. Don't be left in the dark. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
The University of Guam presents Tritons Out Loud. Celebrate a day of diversity on Friday, April 26th at the University of Guam Calvo Fieldhouse from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Come out and experience the opening parade, food trucks, fashion and entertainment, and more.
Let's have some fun.
This event is open and free to the public. Join the first ever Diversity Day where we celebrate unity, pride, sexuality, individuality, and diversity of the Triton and Island community. Tritons Out Loud.
The Justice Department says no to sending an official to Congress to answer questions about the census.
A Department of Justice official with the Civil Rights Division will not give a deposition tomorrow to the House Oversight Committee as part of that panel's investigation about a controversial citizenship question being added to the 2020 census. In a letter to committee chairman Elijah Cummings, the Justice Department says John Gore maintains executive branch confidentiality in an offer to allow a DOJ counsel be present in a separate room for the deposition is not sufficient. The Supreme Court heard arguments this week about the census question. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Measles cases have climbed to their highest level in 25 years. New York City health officials say there are 61 new cases since late last week. About 3/4 of this year's illnesses have been in New York, mainly in New York City and suburban Rockland County. The Centers for Disease Control investigating an E. coli outbreak that has hit 10 states.
The CDC is now saying 100
156 people have tested positive across states through the Midwest stretching east. They don't know where exactly the outbreak started, and they are currently investigating. As of yesterday, the agency was not issuing any official warnings to refrain from eating meat, as they haven't found the exact source. While most E. coli cases aren't severe, it can be life-threatening. As always, they recommend washing all fruits and vegetables and cooking your meat thoroughly to avoid any cross-contamination during food preparation. Jim McKay, Fox News.
Sarah Jessica Parker and British jeweler Cat Florence Design have settled a breach of contract suit against the actress. The company says Parker had agreed to promote a jewelry line of diamonds and other gems for $7.5 million, but failed to live up to her end of the bargain. She countersued, saying payments were stopped without notice or explanation. Details of the settlement were not disclosed. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Get a Coke 12-pack for only $3.49 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a dozen extra-large eggs for only 49 cents when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a case of Circle K water for only $2.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Okay, I think it's coming up soon.
Yeah, we're on Route 1 and near the airport intersection, right?
There, see it? What's the promo code? Look for the promo code.
Check out the Vantage Digital Billboard and reap the rewards. Catch the promo code on the screen and get $10 off your stroll ride by inputting the promo code on the Stroll Guam app.
Did you see it?
You got it. I got it. You just focus on driving.
Take advantage today and take a look at Vantage Advertising's digital billboard located on Route 1 at the airport intersection.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 8 a.m. this Thursday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The Guam Attorney General's office has informed the Consolidated Commission on Utilities that the salary adjustments approved for GPA and GWA executives during a closed-door meeting last November are void and must be rescinded. That message was delivered to the CCU by Attorney General Levin Camacho in a letter written to CCU Chairman Joey Duenas on Tuesday. In his letter, Attorney General Camacho wrote that his office has reviewed the minutes of the November 27th CCU meeting at which salary adjustments were discussed behind closed doors. He wrote that it's a violation of the open government law. Camacho states that any salary adjustments approved at that meeting are void, and any salary adjustments or bonuses paid as a result of the meeting must be paid back by the employees. Among those getting bonuses and pay raises at the Guam Waterworks Authority were General Manager Miguel Bordallo, whose pay increased from $175,000 to $190,000 annually. He also got a $10,000 bonus approved by the CCU at that meeting. GWA Legal Counsel Kelly Clark also got a pay increase from $115,000 to $140,000 a year. Over at the Guam Power Authority, General Manager John Benavente got a bonus of $25,000 on top of his annual pay of $225,000. Assistant General Manager of Administration Beatrice Limtiaco's annual pay went from $128,000 to $144,000. Now, according to the letter from the Attorney General, those raises and bonuses must be paid back. In other news, Chief Judge Francis Tydenko Gatewood of the District Court of Guam has decided to end the 11-year federal receivership over Guam's solid waste and disposal services, effective at 5 p.m. on April 30th. She announced her decision during a hearing yesterday morning in District Court. She'll issue a written order within a few days. On May 1st, for the first time since March 2008, the collection and disposal of the island's trash will be the responsibility of the government of Guam. Federal Receiver GBB will turn over day-to-day operational control to the semi-autonomous Guam Solid Waste Authority and its new general manager, Larry Gast. At a news conference following the court's announcement yesterday, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero declared that it is an historic day, a great day for the people of Guam, she said. GSWA General Manager Gass said his team is ready. We're not going to be raising rates, he said, just to raise rates. If we keep the status quo, he said, we're going to be in good shape. In a statement to the Guam Daily Post, Federal Receiver David Manning said that the entire receiver team is pleased to have had the opportunity to build a modern solid waste system for the island. He said Guam now has the opportunity to build on our work and maintain this system, but it'll require continued focus on the fundamentals and political leadership. He added that none of it would have been possible without the courage and leadership of Chief Judge Francis Tydinko Gatewood. We'll have more news after this.
Hey, it's Mom. Somebody forgot to thaw the chicken, so meet us at Chili's for 2 for $25. Oh, and congratulate your sister for making the basketball team. She's thrilled. Love you. See you at Chili's.
Enjoy 2 full meal combos for $25. An appetizer, 2 mouth-watering entrees like our crispy chicken breast, smoked barbecue quarter leg, or smoked jalapeno cheddar sausage. Served with corn on the cob and french fries. 2 bold combos for $25. A full-on meal deal available nightly for a limited time. Together, we Chili's.
The GCC Votech Class of 79 is back. Join them on April 27th at the Onward Beach Hotel for a night of dinner, dancing, skits, and reminiscing. It's been 40 years since graduation, so take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime chance to relive the memories. There's also a memorial mass on Friday, the 26th, at the Santa Teresita Church. Be there at 5:30 for candle placement in honor of classmates who've gone before. Tickets for the reunion on the 27th are on sale for $40 a person. For details, find Connie Ketigwa St. Nicholas at 488-6108 or Kathy Diaz, 777-3243. Viva 79ers!
11 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. Paul Santos Mafnis Jr. entered a plea of not guilty in Superior Court yesterday to allegations that he kidnapped and raped a 10-year-old girl in Tamuning. Mafnis was indicted on 2 counts of first- and second-degree criminal sexual conduct, attempted first-degree criminal sexual conduct, and kidnapping. He's also facing a special allegation of committing a crime against a vulnerable victim and possessing a deadly weapon while committing a felony. Mafnis is accused of forcing a schoolgirl into his vehicle, raping her, and then abandoning her in Tamuning parking lot earlier this month. He spent about 15 years in prison following his 1999 conviction on similar charges. He was released on parole in 2014. Mafnis appeared in court yesterday via closed-circuit TV from the Agana detention facility. He waived his right to a speedy trial. His next scheduled court appearance is set for June 4th before Judge Maria Senson. Doyon Morato has been appointed by Governor Lou Leon Guerrero to serve on the board of directors of the Guam International Airport Authority. Morato is a well-known businesswoman. She is currently the operations manager of the North Wind Group and the founder and CEO of Zori's Only, a local apparel company. Morato's nomination replaces the governor's earlier appointment of GTA executive Dan Tydinko to the airport board. The governor's communications director, Janela Carrera, said that Tydinko asked for his nomination to be withdrawn, and the governor agreed. Tydinko received strong support from a number of witnesses at his March 8th confirmation hearing, but Senator Mary Torres questioned Tydinko's character and said she emphatically opposed his nomination to the airport board. Senator Talina Nelson, the chairperson of the legislative committee that has oversight over the airport, subsequently rejected Tydinko's nomination, citing Torres's testimony. The senator announced that she would not advance Tydinko's nomination to the floor for consideration by the full legislature. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with some weather.
All right, well, still a little bit on a high from having Don Walsh, one of the handful of people that have been to the bottom of the Challenger Deep in the Trieste all of those years ago. I think before I was even born, the guy was mapping the seafloor and doing all of that stuff. So and Rob McCallum and Alan, the scientist, man, what a fantastic time that was. That's worth listening to it again on the YouTubes later on. The weather, what do we got? Mostly cloudy with isolated showers. Winds out of the east, 15 to 20 miles an hour, decreasing a bit overnight. Highs, hot 89, 90 degrees. Overnight lows, hot 77, 78 degrees. The sun will set, bring some relief at 6:35. Sunrise almost immediately at about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. So that's what we've got for you in terms of the day-to-day forecast. Give you an idea of what weather is going to be like in the very near term. Let me just reset this and get new radar imagery so that Michael can tell you what he sees today.
It's been a pretty rainy morning, especially north side. Had another round of showers just moved through. Got some more back behind there, so could be a rainy drive for second-string traffic, and that should dry up by this afternoon. But again, we live on Guam, and sometimes things just happen.
It just pops up.
Yeah, they just form right over us. So we'll see. The forecast again calling for just isolated showers, and we can see in the satellite not much back there, and that's the way we're expecting things to stay. Blobbage down to the south will stay down there, and the fire danger continues to increase. So be careful with them ciggies.
Watch out for it, and when you see the fire truck behind you, get out the way because they're going to go put out somebody's backyard. 8:14 in the morning. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll. Let's gallivant.
Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
Man, let's get through this. Big bunch of people. I want to say thanks very much for supporting the program, including Guam Regional Medical City, first choice for your specialty care needs. American President Lines, they're shipping the future. Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. And talk to Ron and Kim over at Security Title and ask them about different ways that they can help you make it through some fairly complex real estate transaction stuff. They're experts, and they'll show you how it's done at Security Title.
This is Ronnie. Ronnie is about to break his piggy bank.
Come on, piggy bank.
Ronnie wants to upgrade his smartphone.
And this piggy's gonna help me.
If Ronnie had signed up for GTA's handset payment option, he could have selected a new smartphone with an affordable monthly plan.
I could have what?
Exactly. Sign up for HBO at GTA and don't break the bank.
I'm sorry, piggy bank.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit gta.net for more information.
We like
GTA.
T's and C's and all of that stuff. Mega dealership in Mighty. We're talking about Cars Plus with Cycles Plus and Harley Davidson in one convenient location. Need service, they do that up there as well over at Cars Plus, bringing you portions of the program. Wendy's with the cod filet sandwich combo sold out, but it's back. If you're looking for a simple, clean, and honest meal, a cod filet combo at Wendy's for a limited time. Program's also being brought to you by Greg and the guys over at Take Care.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters.
Do.
Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
I got Tommy Perez online, Ed and Karen Untalan from First Hawaiian Bank, Luis Borjamunya, who sent me a note last night talking about a couple of bills they've got, 123, 124, and 125, intended to strengthen the laws that protect children against sexual predators. These crimes have been happening too often for too long, and I won't stand by and watch another criminal placed back on our streets to hurt others. It's our duty to protect our children, and we've let them down long enough, said Senator Munya, and glad that you feel that way, and make sure that that's the same sentiment that gets transmitted over at the judiciary of Guam, because I think that's where some of the weak slaps on the wrist are coming from these days. Janae Uggins online. I see Mel Mendiola. Carlo Branch from the legislature's hanging out. Juanita Gogui Cruz is online with us. Tricia Santos Lujan and Chris Valencia and Jerry Mendiola, LD, J.M. Bragg, Joe Cruz, and Bill Salisbury. Kat Uggan, who says, wow, Michiko, got science. I'm still listening, but in my car. Thanks, Ray. Appreciate it. Kenny Williams on board as well. Katie Pelicani, there's a friendly name. I haven't seen that one in a long time. Margaret Bloss and Bill Salisbury and others on Facebook Live this morning. 8:18 in the studio is Blake, so it must be time for Sports with Blake. The theme for today's program is Red Lobster is coming. And I found out about that because there's an ad in the newspaper that says Red Lobster is hiring. That was one of the go-to places when I'd go visit my old man in the States. Yeah, we'd run over to a Red Lobster down the street. No, just one of those places because you knew there was going to be seafood and decent service and things like that. Be interesting to see what happens with this. It's a call for a bunch of different people to work in a rewarding career. Talented people to fill roles for the heart of the house and the front of the house. I've never heard that phrase, heart of the house. I've heard front or back. Heart of the house.
That must be new.
Yeah, they're trying to be politically correct in the restaurant world these days.
Yeah, you know, just to make sure.
I'd like to work in the spleen of the house. Is that possible? I'd like to work in the pancreas.
The gallbladder.
I don't
work in the gallbladder.
Work in the heart of the house. I'm just trying to think out loud of where in the place I'd like to hang out here. 8:19 in the morning. Mark Colby's on the line. We'll start with GML action and GML action that has happened and GML action that is going to happen. Good morning, Mark Colby.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure, voice of GML. Pleasure, Metatron of GML.
Okay, so anyways, Guam Major League Baseball. I apologize. I'm still waking up.
That's all right, bro. That's all right. You guys been busy. Fairly aggressive schedule going on with GML action.
Yes, we had the Expos knocking off the Junior Nats this past Tuesday by a final score of 13-10. Alec Ned led the way as the winning pitcher with 11 strikeouts. Jared Alerta for the Expos was the highlight. He went 3 for 4 with 3 runs scored, had 3 RBIs and 3 doubles. He hit the ball and made it to second base 3 times. So the Expos improved to 4-1, while the Junior Nationals dropped to 2-3. The rest of the standings show the Royals at second with a 3-1 record. Red Hawks with a 3-1 record. Blue Jays and Rays respectively with a 2-2 record. Junior Nats 2-3. Rangers 1-3. Rooks at the basement at 0-4. Action continues tomorrow night with the Rangers 1-3 taking on the Royals, who are 3-1. The Royals need a win to stay on top of the standings with the Expos. And then Sunday doubleheader action we'll see at 3 p.m. the Tottenham Red Hawks taking on the Blue Jays. And the Rooks and the Rays will battle it out at 7 p.m. at Paseo.
Roger that. And the Rooks still looking for their first win.
Rooks still looking for their first win.
So what's it going to take? I mean, we've sent hiking beauties down there with all kinds of love and support for the Rooks. What is it? What are we going to send down now? You know, we've already sent the pretty girls, and that should have been an incredible inspiration for them.
I think we need to send the National Guard.
Call out the guard for the Rooks. Funny stuff there. Mark, I'm going to let you run. I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Thank you, sir. You have a wonderful day.
You know I will. 888-825-5888-TALK. Hey, you got some questions or comments about sports, you can put those on Facebook Live right now because I'm watching to see if there's anybody coming in with some thoughts on where sports needs to go or what we should be talking about today.
Yeah, going back to the Rooks, they need to learn that killer instinct. You know, they were up by a ton in the last game that they played, and the other team came back on them and then crushed them.
Yeah.
And you just can't. When you got them by the throat, man, you got to
keep stepping, until it's all done, until the fat lady actually gets up and sings. No, I've seen all kinds of games and all kinds of sporting events where things like that have happened, where you get these come from behind victories after most of the people had left saying this is going to be done, we're over.
I'm a fan of was a fan of a team that suffered the worst NFL comeback in history when the Bills came back on the Oilers in the '93 playoffs.
Nate Horn saying, Blake, did you see Lillard's series ender?
Which one? I mean, I assume you're talking about the Portland Oklahoma City Thunder game. I mean, there was like 4 season enders yesterday.
There really were.
In NHL and NBA. So I assume that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, I don't know either.
The Portland Oklahoma City Thunder game.
More details, Nate. More details.
It's playoff time, man. A lot of people are going home. Come on.
Thank you for coming. Drive carefully and good night. Yeah. Your services are no longer needed here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Nate, unless you come back with a little bit more, I don't know what the heck it is.
I did. It was really dominant. Dame Lillard was playing lights out. Of course, I assume he's talking about that because there are a lot of Portland ties here on Guam, and not to mention Terry Stotts, who of course Guam native, is the head coach for the Trailblazers. So definitely a very big feather in the cap for the Portland Trailblazers for Coach Stotts. Yeah. Like I said, nice little Guam tinge of a tie there. So I go Rip City.
Does he not look like a version of Jesus Christ today? I mean, you take a look at him not so much in real life, but I mean, take a look at Blake on the screen. He's got the beard just
Except
playing the
Jesus
right
was
point.
not a white man.
I was,
and he's got, you're not man bunning today.
No, I was walking across a parking lot yesterday with the sun behind me and the wind blowing in my face.
Yeah.
And there was a group of my friends waiting underneath a canopy, maybe or maybe not, with some frosty beverages as I was walking, and they just yelled. I'm pretty sure one of them zoomed in, was like, "I believe Jesus is walking towards us," in a Guns N' Roses T-shirt, because I was wearing my.
That's what I'd like to see is a version of the Last Dinner, the Last Supper there with with like rock and roll. Who would wear the Clash T-shirt?
Yeah,
that's,
right.
That's the
And the thing is too is when people say that, because people have said that obviously, oh, you're crossing over to Jesus territory, and I tell them, I go, well, I'm more like Moses because I drink.
Nate Orange says down by 13-14, ended with a three-pointer, and yes, it was Portland. James Howard says 118 to 115 seconds and seconds left in the game, and then it was all over.
I think three-pointers sells that shot short, though, man. That thing was almost from midcourt,
and he's done that. He's done
there.
that in this series before. Yeah. He surprised Russ Westbrook, I believe, 2 games ago when Russ was kind of loosely guarding him because Lillard was so far back, and then he just pulls up and drains it. So, yeah, I mean, I guess people are taking pages out of Steph Curry's playbook these days.
So parents of Father Duenas Friars volleyball players are going to go insane if we don't say something great about the Father Duenas. Undefeated.
They beat the other undefeated.
Titans.
I guess they won the battle of the unbeaten as they got 18 kills. Aiden McDonald chips in, and a impressive game as well from Logan Pangilinan according to the stat sheet. Straight set victory over the previously undefeated Tees and Titans. Of course, it went down at the Jungle, so Friars did have a little bit of home field there. It is a regular season game, so no doubt these two, if they keep on their trajectory, they will meet
Probably
sometime
see each other again.
sometime in the postseason. Friars win 25-13, 25-20, 25-18. They stay undefeated. 8-0 is their record. Titans drop with that loss to 7-1. So look out for McDonald. Look out for Pangilinan. They were players of the game, obviously. And it's going to be, pretty gritty heading towards the end of the school year and fourth quarter season. In other action,
it's weird because back of both newspapers, PDN's talking about the Friars and undefeated, and we've seen this kind of thing happen before. And you can look at that, the battle of the undefeateds over there, and then you look at there were other games getting played. Daily Post went in the other direction. Dave Macaluso looking to see if the Sharks might have been able to find their first win, and the answer is no. They're now 0-8.
Geckos beat them, and the Geckos have actually had their struggles as well. But they get a big win over the winless Sharks. I can't tell by the picture. Was that game was that at GW? Can you tell?
I can't tell.
I'm just curious because
no, it was at GW. You're
if
right.
it was at GW, because and mind you, both sides have to play it. But GW has that corrugated ceiling, and it's kind of low, so it always gets the girls and the boys when it comes to volleyball, because they'll play it off the ceiling. But of course, GW with a little bit of the advantage because that's also where they practice. So I'm sure they practice. Just play it off the. Probably spend 10 minutes just playing it off the ceiling. At least I would.
A couple of interesting stories. This is sort of a sports story because it could affect how things are bought and sold in stadiums all around New York City. They're banning hot dogs and processed meat. Had you not seen this? They want to save the environment. Is what they're doing. They believe that if they go meatless and if they stop supporting the meat industry, that will make a big difference for climate change.
Yeah, that's cool that we are having to do so much damage control now because the last 200 years nobody cared about the environment, I guess. So now we got to go without hot dogs because, the steam engine in 1910, I guess. I don't know.
Estimates tell us that we've only got 12 years to get it right. Let's be clear, we have until 2030 to change things fundamentally or our lives won't be the same, said de Blasio. And the only way to do that is to get rid of the hot dogs.
That's because the cows and pigs are farting too much.
The flatulence in the air.
That's exactly
greenhouse
right.
gas,
it
guys.
will reduce greenhouse emissions by 30% while also creating new jobs. Additionally, all buildings that are 25,000 plus square feet or more, of which which there are 50,000 citywide, will be required to make efficiency upgrades that lower their energy usage and emissions, or they face steep penalties. And they wonder why people are leaving New York. Let's go find someplace in the rest of the country where the leadership around here is at least a little sane, right?
The New York.
Where is that place?
The center
of the rainbow,
the center of the universe, sir.
East,
the center
east
of the
of the
universe.
sun, west of the moon. I don't know where that
Second
that
star
place
to
is.
the right, straight on till morning. That's where it is.
Exactly. So I don't know. People are going to say, you got to be kidding here. Now we got to do this to our buildings, and we can't give the workers that are going to be doing it hot dogs. And so there we go. I'm going to find some. North Carolina starts looking pretty good when you start reading headlines like that out of New York City.
Yeah, they're allowed to give them a wonderful tray of tofu.
All right, so and I'll just be upfront and open about this. I don't care. I like hot dogs. I'm going to continue to eat hot dogs.
Oh, me too.
My refrigerator, there is almost always a pack of hot dogs. I don't eat hot dogs on a bun because I'm careful about carbs. I reserve my carb intake for beer, but I eat the hot dogs with pork and beans. I eat the hot dogs with chili, no beans. Have that on top of rice. And when I'm feeling really crazy and experimental, I'll put it in my bowl of Simon.
My thing with because I also keep a pack of, well, not hot dogs, but I keep a pack of brats either in the fridge or in the freezer.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. Well, I'll eat the bun because I'm not a runner. But sometimes when I don't have the bun, I'll just put it on a nice bed of sauerkraut. Or I found this this new organic thing, Ray, combining fusion upon fusion, kimchi sauerkraut. So good for your gut flora, so good in the probiotic, and it fuses it together. So you get a nice regular brat, grill it up, and then throw it on a bed of the kimchi sauerkraut, a little hot sauce on it.
There's a tingling under my tongue right
and
now.
it saves
as
you
I
on
can hear you
carbs.
say that.
Yeah, saves you on carbs. It's good and good for you. Other than of course the grilled hot dog, but.
There's nothing wrong with hot dogs.
No,
It's made
and I get
of
the natural ones here, or the
pork
natural
butt and snout and all of that other stuff. I don't care. I like it. I like the taste of it, and I'm going to eat it until I get old. Cosendo says, "Hey Ray, wanted to see if I can join you guys during a future sports report to chat about our Conquer event. We're providing free entry to 17 and up to promote wellness through play and hope to encourage kids to live better through play. Let me know if this would be an interesting topic to discuss. Those deep water guys, I wish I had their toys. Me too. I know what you mean. So I don't know. You want to do? You want to have Kaz in here one of these days and do Conquer?
I always like. I don't participate because I'm super out of shape, and cardio was never my strong point. But I love things like Tough Mudders, Conquer.
Yes.
I like those adult obstacle courses that are also endurance and kind of CrossFitty. But then again, kind of runners come out for it. So yeah. I like Kaz.
Yeah, so we'll set something up here. It's a little busy tomorrow at the radio station, but maybe early next week we can get something going. Jane Dia from the Department of Administration, Agriculture is going to be in. They're doing from fork to farm, farm to fork, field to fork. I think it's the one where we're going to go out and kill some more pigs and then have the
derby, right? The Balaku Derby.
So we'll talk about that on Monday. I think she's coming in to do all of that stuff. Joe Cruz says hot dogs made from lips and something holes. Hot dogs are awesome. Just leave that there.
Too, what's interesting, so you said they're going to ban that in ballparks, right?
No, they're going to all the way. I mean, they're making a ban on all kinds of. They're just not going to be. The city's not going to be buying them anymore. And they've already got a thing in New York called Meatless Mondays, where there's the schools and hospitals and stuff. You can have whatever you want as long as there's no meat in it.
Huh? Interesting.
Because cows farted.
So I guess there goes $1 hot dog night at Yankee Stadium.
I'm just saying. I mean, aren't these the same people that wanted to put a sin tax on sugary drinks? And the heavy, you couldn't buy one big drink, but you could buy two little ones.
And you know what? I wish that New York City would stop roping us in with it, because no one else is sending out the smog and the air pollution that a giant city like that is. So you know what? Y'all can go meatless, and the rest of us don't have to, because we're not sending out the rest of the pollution like y'all are.
Yeah, I
maybe
get it.
LA, but
Liesl Renee is online, and I think that's all the time that we're going to have today.
Okay.
I think that's it. That's all the time we've got to pretend to talk about sports. My buddy Blake Watson, and thank you, Mark Colby, for calling in this morning, and Michael for filling in some of the gaps here. 8:32, and he's going to get out of here and head over to Star 101. Kevin Kerrigan is going to be doing the last of this morning's headlines from the Daily Post in seconds.
When your family needs medical care, how often do you find the need to visit multiple clinics? When a child has a serious ailment, do you find yourself meeting a medical provider only to learn you must go somewhere else for testing? At the FHP Health Center, you can find multiple specialties and testing services under one roof. And if your family needs urgent care, FHP is there for you with convenient weekday, evening, and weekend hours. Voted the island's best clinic and Pika's best 2 years in a row. FHP, our island, your clinic. Learn more at fhpguam.com.
.33 studio time here at the radio station. Coming up, we got some folks from the judiciary coming in to talk about some of the activities that they've got lined up for Law Month. I think, if I'm right, Danielle Rossetti is going to be in the studio. She pretty much runs the place anymore over at the judiciary, and so we'll get from her some of the activities that they've got lined. Hey, Shawnee's here too. Oh, this will be fun. But right now, we got to get into headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. In district court yesterday, former Revenue tax employee Lourdes Fernandez Blas admitted to fraudulently issuing driver's licenses in exchange for bribes. The 47-year-old Blas pleaded guilty to a charge of unauthorized access of a protected computer in furtherance of fraud. She was arrested 3 years ago on allegations she bypassed the driver's license examination process and issued licenses in exchange for cash payments ranging from $500 to $700. Blas faces a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison, 3 years of supervised release, and a fine of $250,000. Her sentencing will take place at a yet-to-be-announced later date. Attorney David Lujan is objecting to what he calls the fire sale of one of the most valuable real estate assets owned by the Archdiocese of Guam. Lujan represents the vast majority of the sexual abuse claimants who have filed lawsuits against the island's Catholic Church seeking hundreds of millions of dollars in damages that will have to be paid by the sale of assets owned by the Archdiocese. Lujan filed notice of his objection in district court this week, citing the proposed sale of the former Axion Hotel that was once used as a seminary. It's up for sale for only $5.4 million. Lujan says that no appraisal was done before the sale price was set, and he pointed out that earlier offers for the property ranged from between $6.5 to $7.5 million. Lujan also objected to the 5% commission sought by RE/MAX, the real estate agent, saying it is exorbitant. Hundreds of people stood along roadsides in dozens of locations across the island yesterday afternoon to say enough to the sexual assaults that have victimized many of the island's underage children and young adults. The walkout took place at 5:05 p.m. yesterday afternoon. Residents left their homes and places of work, held up their hands as well as some signs on which they'd written the word enough. The walkout was organized by the Guam Family Justice Center Alliance, many of whose members have been victims of sexual abuse themselves. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
You got it. It's 8:36 in the morning, and that's iConnect time. Go to iConnect and learn everything they need to tell you about incredible mobile and internet plans that aren't going to cost you. What makes them incredible is you get the same kind of service, but it's not going to cost you the same kind of bucks as some of the other guys. 888-8888.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
Studio time, 8:37 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK. Stand by. I want to take a look at the traffic gizmo and let you know what traffic is like. Right now, that's what we call it right now, traffic, is we can see actually in real time what's going on out there. Don't see a lot happening on northbound, southbound up in Gigo. Looks like all of that's cleared up as you get into the downtown Dededo area. Expect some delays at intersections because they have these lights that actually make the cars stop. It's kind of crazy. And then you just kind of keep going until you get into the downtown Upper Tumon area, and most of that is running pretty clear as well. Ganya, a little bit busy right now over at the major intersections over by the courthouse and on your way by the Bank of Guam. But after that, everything is looking pretty good. And then of course we get into Navy Hospital. A little bit of traffic through there. And let me just scooch down and see if there's kind of blood red, slow going into Naval Base down at Sumai. And I don't know why. I think it's just maybe they're down to just one guy saluting everybody. And I don't know. I'm not in charge of that. 8:38 in the morning, and that's right now traffic here on The Point.
Docomo Pacific's all-new business bundles provide tailored solutions to help your business become a better business. Choose from our business basic, essential, or value bundles and get unlimited talk and text, worry-free data at home and abroad, plus access to the fastest online speeds in the Marianas. Add on mobile or broadband lines and save up to 20% for each line. Email businesssales@docomopacific.com to find out which bundle provides the best solution for your business. Terms and conditions apply.
Here we go. It's 8:39 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK. And there's all kinds of interest. You realize where we are at the end of April and just how crazy busy everybody is? There's Mamma Mia's happening this weekend. There's a couple of 5Ks going on. One, I think, for St. Francis has got a big 5K. I think they'd had their confirmation. The kids had confirmation yesterday, and we had the big enough thing to walk out yesterday after a crazy busy end of April. And that leads into kind of dovetails into what is going to be a pretty busy month of May. I know that the departments and agencies all over the island of Guam, specifically the Guam Police Department, gearing up for my birthday celebration on May the 11th. Just dropping that in there.
How awesome.
Yeah, happy birthday, Danielle Rossetti's in the studio. How you doing?
I'm great.
I don't get to see you very often. Normally when I start talking about court stuff, I get Shawnee on.
You see my name on the jury questionnaire, perhaps.
I see your name on the jury questionnaire.
Thank you for your service.
You're now they always say that. Like, yeah, there's nothing you can do about it, but thanks for your service. Anyway, so for Law Weekday month, in the month of May 2019, everybody's going to be called for jury duty. Is that right?
No, we will be recognizing our jurors this time around.
Right.
To thank them for their service, because we realize we probably summon about 5,000 to 7,000 jurors annually.
That's amazing.
To come into the court system and to be present for trials.
It's an interesting process, and there are people that are listening right now that have no idea what jury duty and what the steps are. When the first time I got called, this was back in the 1990s or something like that. It was everybody in a room, and they did the voir dire with about 300 people in it. But they did it for everything, not just an isolated case. And then they've since made that change now. So we bring in the different groups. Bring those groups in front of a judge and the lawyers and the defendant, which kind of freaked me out initially, for the voir dire for an individual case. Did I frame that about right?
Correct.
Yeah. So why was that change made?
I think it's because every defendant is entitled to a fair and speedy trial, constitutional right to a speedy trial, and can plea up until the time, and that's why sometimes jurors don't understand, well, why am I sitting in here waiting when, I was summoned to come in at this time? It's because they're probably, lawyers are probably arguing some motions and determining, do you really want to go to trial? Do you want to take the risk? And the defendant has up until that time, even before the jurors reach a verdict, to change his plea.
I just thought it was a question of what time are the judges coming in.
No.
I mean, I'm serious. I thought, we're here in bankers' hours, but the judges don't get here until like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, so we're just going to sit in the back room and cool our heels and check our Instagrams until Her Honor comes in and puts the robe on. That's not what's going on. There's actual work
there are
taking
court
place.
matters that come in. We typically try to bring the jurors in at least an hour before the scheduled trial date to get you to check in in and get some coffee and stuff. But yeah, no, there's stuff going on before you head into the courtroom.
Yeah,
Most definitely.
Little known fact, there is coffee there.
Yes.
But it's in the back. You got to go in the back, guys. Yes. I had no idea because you kind of get in there, and it's like church. Do I sit on the right side? Do I sit on the left side? Do I sit in front? You start scanning the room for people you know, and
if the legislature gives us more money in our budget, then perhaps we have plans to renovate our jury assembly room so that it's comfortable, more convenient. And,
Well, it wasn't awful, and I had the great opportunity to do jury duty with my sister Mana. When we were called in for all of that stuff, it was Mana and I, and as you might imagine, there were a couple of interesting streams of consciousness in our conversations that we were going through the whole time. She actually got on a case. I voir dired out. I was got to one of the line of questionings that made it so that I was excused from that particular case. But don't go too far, Gibson, because we might call you in for another case. Yeah. So, about how many people go through that jury process a month?
If we average about 60 trials a year, depending on when the trials are scheduled, you can have 3 trials in a day, and we bring in 3 jury pools of about 80 to 100 jurors.
Yeah.
So a couple hundred a month.
The Tenorio gun grab case, about how many pallets of jurors came through for that? Do you remember?
I think it was a misdemeanor case, but because it was high profile, we went through probably 200 jurors, I'd like to say, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Incredible process. Now, from the perspective of somebody that has been there, done that, I kept thinking, there have got to be other ways to do this using modern technology instead of having to make the phone call at quarter after 5 o'clock to find out if my pool was called for the next day. Isn't there an easier way to do that? Are you guys working on it?
We are hoping in this year that we are able to implement a text notification. So you'll have to opt in as a juror because obviously not all jurors have cell phones.
Sure.
So we started with the check-in kiosk where you come in, you check in at the kiosk.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, we have cell phone chargers. So for jurors that will be there a little longer than expected, if they needed to charge their cell phones, we have those things set up, and now we're really looking into trying to get the text notification because that has been, most people put in a reminder on their phones. I get off work and I'm like, the first thing I'm thinking is, what am I going to cook for dinner?
Not
alone
make that phone
call
call.
the jury, unit. So yeah, we're hoping that we can implement something in that fashion this year.
Some of us put together because we got the technology, right? So it's if you don't have it, we will fill in the blanks. So we had our own little WhatsApp going. So one person from my group would make the phone call, and then we'd let everybody else that we knew was in our network. We'd let them know whether we were going to be called in for tomorrow morning. And for the most part, it worked until one day I didn't look at my WhatsApp, and I look at it the next morning, and I'm like 9 or something, looking at it going, oh, I'm supposed to be there. I'm supposed to be over at the court. And then I had to write the Gomenasai letter, right? Which is because I needed, I don't know, I think it was, I'm trying to remember which judge I wrote it to, but I had to write out a letter to somebody saying, I'm really, really sorry. It won't happen again. I promise to do my taxes and brush my teeth and do my homework.
Yes, it happens. And, we recognize it happens. So that's why we're trying to find ways to improve our jury
So
process.
how many times can that happen before you guys actually lay out?
Before they actually issue an order to show cause and get the marshals to come?
Yeah.
It's got to be pretty egregious. We appreciate the service of the community when they come in for jury duty. And we know it's not very easy for you to set aside your schedule and time and to come in and serve your civic duty, right?
Well, can we make it so I get paid? Because that was the other thing. There was a distinction between, and so Mana was, okay, I'd be here all day, no sweat, because she was a Government of Guam employee. I'm a private sector guy, and in the Government of Guam, you get paid your regular hourly rate, right?
You turn over you submit your jury stipend to your government, yes, by statute.
So you get some dough, but I'm, like I said, private sector guy. Is there any way that you might be able to?
And that's why perhaps some senators listening in on look at the law to change it.
Well, a lot of conversation these days about the criminal justice system and all the different CSCs that we've got. If you look at my hand, it says enough on it. Did you guys enough yesterday over at the judiciary? Did you guys participate in that walkout?
I don't believe we did. No, it was 5:05 when they had the walkout.
Yeah, and you guys
we
already
walked out
split?
to go home.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, and not much frontage there for all of the traffic going by there. 8:47 in the morning. So that's not the only thing going on for Law Week, or well, let me back up because I've used up plenty of radio time talking about the experience of jury duty. But how are you going to find ways in Law Week to say thank you to your jury
we'll
guys?
have a proclamation presentation and resolution from our Judicial Council and the senators. Recognizing I believe it's May 5th through the 11th as Jury Appreciation Week, and thanking our jurors for their service. And then usually that week, if you come in for jury duty, we've got some refreshments for you.
Really?
And
Well,
then
so
court,
you're not on the
court
jury.
staff
You're not
will
on the
wear
list.
tags that say we appreciate our jurors. We have a big banner that will be set up in the court atrium.
Right.
Thank you for your service.
So
Yes.
buffets,
No
parades.
buffets, but merienda,
Okay,
perhaps, yes.
a little bit. Okay, well, it's a nice. Well, it's a nice beginning, I suppose.
Yes.
For to say thank you very much to the ones that have gone before, and obviously the ones that are going to be coming in after for the jury duty. Now, getting back to a little bit of the rules and regulations. Now, as I said, I was when we went through the voir dire, I was excused from jury duty, but I was always on the list and available. Active status, right? Now, Mana, on the other hand, actually stayed through a case and saw it to conclusion. And so that means that she cannot be called anymore for jury duty?
2 years.
Oh, for 2 years. Okay, so after that, though. Oh, I thought it was forever. I thought it was permanent.
No, the statute says every 2 years.
Oh, okay, all right. And the reason is because there's a genuine need to have a pool of citizens that can participate.
Because we get our lists from the driver's record, your driver records, if you are a licensed driver, and if you're a voter.
Yeah.
Those are the source lists by statute that we get.
So an interesting question, is thank you very much for your service, although there is sometimes feels like an obligation. Are there people out there that want to sit on juries? Can you volunteer to be on a panel?
There are specific qualifications that set you from being, you have to be a U.S. citizen, you have to be able to speak English, read or write. We've never had it where someone just comes in and says, hey, by the way, because it's...
I'm not doing anything this week. Can I sit on a jury?
It's a process. It's a random process. So when we get the source list from DMV and from the Guam Election Commission, our automated software from our vendor, puts the names into that, and it's an automated process, and we say, give me, by chance, the statute says, between a number of 1 to 9 is what I recall. And if it's every fifth name, after the names are randomly placed into the software, then those are the names that are pulled out, and that's how we garner our pool annually.
And so it's possible. In fact, I know somebody. Her name is Elaine, and Elaine, in timely conversation, it was recently. She said, if you ever get somebody with jury duty, let them know that her name keeps popping up. And she's like, well, I work in a clinic, and it's difficult for me to get the time away from the clinic, and I'm not the doctor, but still she's kind of important to the task that goes on out there. And it's not that she does not want to serve; it's just that she just keeps getting called up from time to time. That'll happen.
Yeah,
won't it?
sometimes it happens. Well, if you've been called the prior year, we generally your name would be excluded. That's an exclusion. But sometimes people don't understand that when they vote, we get 2 source lists. If you have a different address and a different name from where you voted, and a different name and address from when you drive, so we don't know that this is the same Ray Gibson. Correct.
Okay.
So your name will get thrown in. So you may have been called the last time for another name that maybe what you registered at when you were 18 as a voter.
So when something
driver.
like that happens, do I go and say, where's Danielle?
Yeah. No, yeah, you let us know, and we excuse you. Yeah, because we'll have record that you served.
Yeah.
But I tell people all the time, in order for this to not happen again, go to the Guam Election Commission.
And make sure that your address is your personal information.
What does your driver's
match.
license name look like? Because it could be, Raymond John Gibson at Guam Election, and then for the drivers, it's Raymond Gibson.
Yeah.
We don't know that they're one and the same.
I'll be darned. So they're not Social Security matched, though, right?
No, date of birth.
Date of birth. Yes, okay, interesting stuff here. And that might be the why. Hey, if you've got questions for Danielle, you're more than welcome to come in here and ask about them. So Melanie Mendiola says, Danielle, exclamation point. She is also a Girl Scout troop leader.
Yes, I am. And it was Girl Scout Troop Leader Appreciation Day the other day.
Was it?
Yes.
Where did I see recently a whole mess of Girl Scout cookies?
Not in my house because I sold all the cookies.
Good girl. Because there was somewhere recently where I saw, I want to say it was around training time for the marathon, and it really irked me because I'm looking at these cookies, and there was a whole mess of well, no, it wasn't a water station or something. It was I was training, and I remember because my favorite is the
Thin Mint.
The Thin Mint, yeah, and there were a whole bunch of boxes of that, and I was that close to buying a whole bunch of boxes of those kinds of things. Any similarities between the two of them? A Girl Scout, being a leader in the Girl Scout and working over at the court?
I play a leadership role at the courthouse, but I think for being a Girl Scout troop leader for a number of years, and being in the Girl Scout organization since my 21-year-old was 6, it's a great experience to teach our younger girls about leadership in the community and high positions that you can perhaps.
Well, the obvious thing is the pipeline from Girl Scouts into girl high schools into leadership on Guam. I mean, this is an interesting time, isn't it? Where all of the leaders of the 3 branches of government that we have here are, in fact, women.
Most definitely. Future is Famalo. And I am the first female clerk of court at the Superior Court, so, says something about women.
Blazing trails.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate hearing stories like that because of the idea that there's a lot of doors in this world, and I think sometimes the kids that have been raised, I don't know, may only see a few doors. The school door, the house door, the mall doors, my boyfriend's doors, all of that. Don't realize that there's a whole other mess, and you just got to keep walking around and opening them until you find something you like on the other side.
Yes, most definitely.
So when I hear about victories like yours and others, just find them inspiring. And I think the same can be said about the adventures that guys have got to go through. Shawnee, thanks very much for bringing her. And what happened to CJ? I was supposed to get Bob.
He is in a conference call.
Together, so I can call him that.
And no, in fact, they have. I believe they have Supreme Court. They have hearings today, so they just couldn't break away because I think they're starting in probably a couple minutes or so.
Right. Okay.
Upstairs on the 3rd floor.
And this is the first of the many interviews that I'll be conducting with folks from the court over the course of the next couple of weeks, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, with our State of the Judiciary address happening next week, obviously this whole month is going to be filled, and I know Danielle is actively been part of the whole organizing committee. She's been not just doing this 1 year. She's been doing it for a while, and so we're appreciative of the work of Danielle and the Guam Bar Association, who's been actively putting this together, and the U.S. District Court of Guam. So it's a big group. I'm like the little guy in the group with these
They
people.
just send out the press releases.
There's a lot of personalities. We're going to go do this, and you just got to behave yourself.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about the Law Week celebrations outside the jury duty stuff.
So we'll have
Res Judicata.
The Carabao Run. That's going to be on May 11th. Saturday. Right?
That's my birthday. It's a Saturday.
Wow.
I already know. So I know what I'm doing that morning, right?
Yes, you always do that run.
I like to participate in that one as often as possible. Yeah, because it's one of my favorite
race
races.
To the courthouse.
Yeah,
because
it's an Aganya race, and I like the way the course gets cut for that, and it's one of the few times that you can be in the parking lot over at the court.
Yes,
because it fills up so fast.
Yeah, and of course we have our kickoff tomorrow with our proclamation and resolution presentation at the governor's conference room in Adaloop, where we bring all 3 branches of government together to recognize Law Day and Law Week. Now, this year, Law Week theme is really geared towards us celebrating our liberation festivity, 75 years. So the theme is a little different from the National Law Day theme of free speech and free press. It's Evolving Liberty Guam 75 years later. So we're really highlighting what liberties we had then, and 75 years to today, what some of the fundamental liberties that perhaps we may not have, or we have been given since.
But what a great opportunity to look back and see what the record was for Guam court activities. I mean, there was still a free working court on Guam after the war, right?
Yes.
And so there were all kinds of things that had to be adjudicated. Where did those kind of things take place? What was the atmosphere of the courtroom back in those days?
And this year we'll have a presidential lecture at the University of Guam that will talk about that. So we'll have a magistrate judge, Joaquin Manabusan Jr. from the district court, Attorney Joaquin Ariola Sr.,
PAP is going down?
A panel, yes. And Attorney General Leven Camacho will be on the panel to speak on the at the presidential lecture. At the
I think it would be most interesting to hear from Ken Ariola.
Yes,
the living
still very sharp.
What I don't want to say that a relic, but I mean, it's what we used to refer to as some of the older people in our family was the living historians, and so he's from around the Second World War. He was a teenager during the war.
And one of the great things is I see him every day in the courthouse when he's walking to go and represent his clients. So he's actively still practicing, and it's an important thing to note. Also, the series is just a different way for us to be able to share that message about kind of the past, the present, and what the future is of what we would expect from the law, the branch as a whole.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm excited just because have all three and being in a panel discussion. It's going to be pretty cool to watch.
Oh, just the questions. What was it like back in those days? He comes back from school and he's got his JD, and what was the practice of law then? What were some of the more interesting people that he got to work with? Tell me about these lawyers and go back these judges. I mean, even Paul Abadi. There's another storied name from back in the day.
Well, Ray, one of the things I was talking to Chief Justice Merriman about this. What she's very keen on was she was telling us, hey guys, 75 years ago when there was war, the free speech, the idea of those freedoms were taken away.
Sure.
And to be able to hear from someone who saw that firsthand, to share with others, because we don't talk about it in 2019 as much as probably for us to really appreciate it. The 75th anniversary, everyone's thinking, okay, parade, or we're going to have gambling, or these other issues that have really nothing to do with what really happened 75 years ago and what was going on. And I think this particular lecture series is going to be an awesome way to get that.
Yeah, losing your freedoms and then getting them back. So what are some of the other outreach things that we're doing? Are we going to get all the lawyers together?
Our law fair is on Saturday at the court, Judiciary Courthouse. So a lot of our community stakeholders and other law enforcement agencies will be there. We will also feature perhaps one of our most popular Law Week event annually is our fairy tale mock trials from our middle school and elementary school students. We've got 15 schools this year, about 33 or so mock trial plays that will be performed starting Saturday. You can find our calendar of Law Week events in our court.
Well, I want to find out. So I want to find out about some of the cases because we started working from fairy tales into Star Wars, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So there might be a couple of other very interesting ones to talk about as the conversation continues. We'll get you guys back in the studio in a couple of days to talk about some of the other activities.
Thanks for having us.
Oh no, come by anytime. It's nice here, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so come back. We'll get the cameras and everything. You'll be able to see yourself on Facebook Live later on, and
Thanks,
Johnny
Ray.
and all of that. Great to have you guys in here. The radio station is KUSG. I got you. Stand by now. Fox News Live is next.
Promising to keep up the fight. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The President and First Lady pledging to take on the opioid crisis head on.
Opioid abuse claimed a record of nearly 48,000 American lives in 2017. But President Trump at a drug summit in Atlanta claimed credit for progress in battling the opioid epidemic.
Everyone here today is united by the same vital goal: to liberate our fellow Americans from the grip of drug addiction and to end the opioid crisis once and for all.
The White House points to some signs of progress, including the fact that the number of prescriptions for opioid painkillers filled in the U.S. fell substantially in 2017.
Fox's John Decker at the White House. Before leaving for Atlanta, the president pledged to fight any subpoena issued by Democrats as they continue to investigate his administration.
The only way they can luck out is by constantly going after me on nonsense.
The White House has already said former White House counsel Don McGahn will not testify before Congress. And a Fox News alert now. The police chief in Sunnyvale, California, says the driver who rammed into pedestrians has been booked on 8 counts of attempted murder. Once again, the police chief in Sunnyvale, California, saying the driver who rammed into pedestrians has been booked on 8 counts of attempted murder. The parents of an Illinois boy who reported him missing last week have been charged in connection with his death. Andrew Friend and Joanne Cunningham facing first-degree murder and other charges.
Based on the current information and evidence, both Joanne Cunningham and Andrew Friend are being charged with the death and disappearance of AJ. Both are in police custody at this time.
Crystal Lake Police Chief James Black, the body of A.J. Friend was found in a shallow grave wrapped in plastic in a rural area a few miles from the family's home in Crystal Lake. This is Fox News.
Let's see now. Fast, easy, affordable. That's the best way to describe my home loan at Bank Pacific. Fast because we give quick decisions. Easy because we've cut back on the paperwork. Affordable because today's home loan rates are still so low. So see us today to refinance or consolidate or to buy or build your new home and save yourself some money.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, FDIC. Viva Bank Pacific.
Docomo Pacific's all-new business bundles provide tailored solutions to help your business become a better business. Choose from our Business Basic, Essential, or Value bundles and get unlimited talk and text, worry-free data at home and abroad, plus access to the fastest online speeds in the Marianas. Add on mobile or broadband lines and save up to 20% for each line. Email businesssales@docomopacific.com to find out which bundle provides the best solution for your business. Terms and conditions apply.
The Supreme Court hears arguments in a Wisconsin DUI case.
Gerald Mitchell was convicted of his 7th DUI in 2013 after police in Wisconsin drew his blood while he was unconscious to prove his alcohol level was above the legal limit. Lawyers for Mitchell argue that evidence should be thrown out because officers never asked for a warrant. They also never received Mitchell's consent to take his blood. Prosecutors argue the policing practice helps convict drunk drivers and save lives. Civil rights and defense lawyers counter, saying a defendant is guaranteed to protection against unreasonable searches and seizures as outlined in the Fourth Amendment. A ruling from the High Court is pending. Tom Graham, Fox News.
The public defenders representing the man charged in the Parkland schools massacre in Florida asking to withdraw from the case, saying Nicholas Cruz will soon receive nearly $500,000 in insurance money and will no longer qualify for free legal representation. No change in the rules for what films are eligible for Academy Awards.
Netflix, Amazon, and other streaming services have been given the green light for the Oscar Gold from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, which voted to not change its rules for winning an Oscar, which say a movie has to run in a theater for only 7 days in Los Angeles to qualify. Many filmmakers, including award-winning director Steven Spielberg and theater owners, were upset when Netflix won 3 Oscars for Roma, which streamed online only 3 weeks after a limited theatrical debut. Theater owners say the short run at a theater means more people will choose to stay home to watch movies. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
Britney Spears has a message for her fans. Though she says her family is stressed, she's doing okay. In a video posted on Instagram, she said all is well and said, don't worry, she'll be back soon. She announced in January she was putting her career on hold for the sake of her father, who is sick. I'm Lee Silasera. This is Fox News.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
Yes, I see the finger pointing at me, which means I've got to get up and say thank you very much for your participation in this morning's broadcast. Talking about people listening, people watching, and people sponsoring, like the guys over at Cars Plus, Jen and Joey and Dunge. Dunge kind of the fleet manager guy, so if you've got questions about I need to roll out 10 guys and 10 pickups, and this is how much money I got to spend, he's the guy that can put those deals together. Also brought to you by Guam Regional Medical City, first choice for your specialty care needs, Micronesia Renewable Energy, where there's never been a better time to go solar, and APL American President Lines is shipping the future.
Rediscover talk radio here. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Yes, it is a Thursday morning after the Enough walkout I think that's going to be there for a couple of days, and that's okay. I suspect for a lot of people, it's like Ash Wednesday, right? You know, this is how we know you participated in the walkout event yesterday for justice in this town, the Justice Alliance. Is you've got the remnants of the enough on your hands. And so as you reach for somebody today, shake their hand or whatever, just take a look and see if they've got something like that. Maybe just kind of a secret nod amongst ourselves that we were, part of that massive community undertaking yesterday. And it seems like I remember it was talking with my buddy JB. After it was all done, I came back into Mosa. Me and JB are sitting there, and he was asking me questions about my video security system that I've got at the house. You know, the one that bristling with cameras and lines and wires and things like that. And I said, yeah, so the cool thing is I've got an alarm system. When the alarm goes off, then I will get a text from the guy that says the alarm goes off, and then I can look in the videos and see if I can find the bad guy, and then, you know, have pictures, right? You know, video of the bad guy at the house while the alarm is going off. And I said I should be able to do this. Unfortunately, at 20 after 5 o'clock yesterday. I don't know if you felt it too, but the internet went slow. Did you catch that? You know why? Because it was everybody taking videos and the pictures of them and their crews and putting them up on the social media. Within minutes of it ending, Instagram and Facebook were just jammed with images of people from all over the island that were standing out by the street and intersections and places like that that had wanting to send a signal out to our elected representatives that we have had enough. And I'm delighted to have been a part of that. I got a note from somebody, and they said, hey, thanks for looking out for us ladies. I appreciate you seeing it that way. And as I've said, I've got wives, I've got sisters, I have a daughter, I have cousins, I have nieces. And I'd like them to be safe and comfortable everywhere they go. But I have brothers, and I have cousins, and I have nephews, and I want it to be safe for them too. I want to be able to get out from under a time where we all feel like we've either got to stay inside or gun up in order to be prepared to defend ourselves, because you just never know what kind of jughead's going to be coming for you next. So that's why I was out there, and yeah. Oh, glad you saw it that way. 888-255-888-TALK. I want to say good morning to Uncle Robert Underwood, who's watching online this morning. If I get a chance, Uncle Robert, what I want to be able to do is play a video that I got from Greg Champion. He's posted it up on Facebook as well. And what it is, it's a video, if you will, of his mother and father's wedding. Mother and father, grandmother and grandfather, but maybe mother and father in 1939. Great images of pre-war Guam, great color images of pre-war Guam as well. So let's see if I can get that to play. I don't necessarily need the audio, but watching the video on the back end of it might be enlightening to you as well, having grown up on Guam and in the 50s in the post-war era. My pal Melanie Mendiola is on the line from Gita. Good morning, Mel.
Good morning, Ray.
How you doing there? What you up to?
I'm okay. I'm in the car. I have a meeting in a little bit, but I thought I'd take a little bit of time in case you wanted to. I think you wanted to talk about something.
Well, yeah, I wanted to find out about those. I wanted to find out about those companies that lost their qualifying certificates or released their qualifying certificates, and what that might mean for us. So tell me a little bit about those two outfits.
Oh yeah, no big deal. Those two outfits are actually not in operation anymore. So one of them was one of the qualifying certificates that was revoked was Grow Guam, and as you may know, Grow Guam hasn't been in operation for over a year, maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
Already, Grow Guam was the hydroponic lettuce producer up in Manila. And the other one was Aviation Concepts. And Aviation Concepts continues to be in operation, but they have moved the bulk of their operations to the Philippines. And so when you move the bulk of your operations to the Philippines, you're no longer operating in Guam, or, you're operating on a very limited basis in Guam. And so, because of all those things, they weren't able to meet the requirements. And when our QC compliance team went out to do their checks, to do their annual surveillance, they said they made the recommendation. They said, and they're not in operation anymore. So,
Right. So out of the picture.
Pretty routine.
But I remember Grow Guam. In fact, I remember having being treated to some of that hydroponic lettuce. I thought it was actually pretty good. I didn't realize that they.
Great.
Yeah. I thought that was going to start kind of a revolution in agriculture here on Guam, because you could see that, number one, there were products that we could grow here, and you could grow kind of a premium product that people would pay premium prices for. So I figured the model looked pretty good. But my understanding from reading at least one of the stories was they were never able to take advantage of any of the benefits of that QC.
I think part of it was well, I don't know how true that is. I know that for for was it Paula and you know, and I knew them in my previous life, obviously at Farm to Table, and I think some of the cost of the inputs, you know, they brought in a lot of their stuff from off island, and like their fertilizer, nutrients, and things along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And I think after a while, you know, you really have. I think Kramer at some point in time, John Kramer left to another organization,
right?
And they sold Grow Guam, and then at that point in time, I don't know if the new owner, the new operator, had the same sort of vision as they did when they had originally started it up. So that's kind of what I noticed. But I wasn't under the impression at the time when I was at Farm to Table. I wasn't under the impression at the time that the QC was a huge issue for them, because, you know, farmers are already covered under their and they're a bit of like an agricultural exemption with regard to their GRTs, and then so the exemptions they were getting under the QC were probably along the lines of like a property tax abatement, and I don't know if I'm not quite sure if Grow Guam owned the land or were leasing, so that wouldn't have been an issue if they were leasing, and then there's income tax abatement, but I can't imagine that a farmer was making a whole lot of money.
Right. Yeah, anywhere in this town. You've got fairly thin margins. 9:13 in the morning, Mel Mendiola from Gita on the line. Is there still a moratorium on qualifying certificates? I seem to recall Governor Eddie Jerome Baza Calvo declaring such in the last administration. I don't recall whether or not that made it into the next administration.
There is. There's a couple things that we're looking to clarify right now with the qualifying certificate. You know, the first is the level of I'm sorry, one second. The first is the level of where does the oversight for the qualifying certificate come from, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in the years that GITA has been in existence, the qualifying certificate's been approved by the board, or it's been vetted by GITA personnel. It's been approved or disapproved by the board, and then for subsequent approval by the governor. And last year, I believe, was the first time it started to go through the legislature, and so there's some questions that are up at the AG's office awaiting some clarification regarding whether or not who should really be making ultimate decisions on the applicability of a qualifying certificate, or the approval or the disapproval of a qualifying certificate.
Right. Doesn't the legislation behind qualifying certificates identify GITA as the arbiter of the agreements?
That's right. That's right.
Why do we need to change that now?
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's already those are I agree. So we're waiting on some clarification, but it sounds to me like the intention of our we continue to sell quote unquote qualifying certificates. We continue to go out and say that qualifying certificates are, because my thoughts are just we need to go through the process, and because I have not been under the impression at all thus far in my time with GITA that our governor has any intention of stopping qualifying certificates.
Right.
Okay? So my thoughts are we should move forward until we have some clarification from the AG's office. And to be perfectly honest, QC applications aren't exactly flying through the door. We got one intent to apply from a solar, I want to say, I think it was a solar company.
Well, isn't there at least one insurance company on Guam that has their qualifying certificate in limbo, which puts them kind of at a competitive disadvantage to the other insurance companies that do have current qualifying certificates?
That's right. Well, what we have right now is we have our multiple insurance carriers who are all expiring, and not being renewed, right? Mm-hmm. And so one of the things things that happened when I came in in January was our governor said we need to come up with some kind of resolution to these QCs. So it looks like we're exploring our options with the insurance QCs. A lot of I was under the impression when I came to Guam Economic Development Authority, I was under the impression that qualifying certificates were specifically to attract new investment into our island for the purpose of economic growth.
Yes.
So my thoughts, my position, I suppose you could say, coming into it was, well, if an industry is a mature industry, and a mature industry can be defined in a number of different ways by sales over a number of years, or slowing sales growth over a number of years, number of competitors, etc. But if an industry is now a mature industry, why do they continue to need a qualifying certificate? This was what my sort of lens when I came into GITA. This is the lens through which I looked at the QC program. But then I started to read a little bit more, and do my homework, do my study up on the QC program. And one of the reasons that the QC was put into place was to make vital services to the people of Guam affordable.
Yes.
And I think we can all agree that health insurance is a vital service. And so in the past, I think the argument for health insurance to renew or to not renew was it's a mature industry. They should be making their adjustments. But, there's starting to be there's this emerging argument of it is a vital service, and that was part of the QC legislation that it was put into place. It was put into place to keep costs lower for the people of Guam for vital services. So,
and to provide employment in blossoming, high-paying, decent-paying job industries like the health insurance business. But it seems to me not so much health insurance, but when you start talking about the qualifying certificates for the insurance companies, many of them were brought in to ensure that there was going to be a captive insurance business, and that local insurance companies could participate along with off-island companies as captive insurance providers.
That's right.
So that's my recollection of the story, and I think it was Defunto Ben Pangilinan from the legislature that ensured in the legislation providing for QCs for the insurance industry that the players on Guam could be at equal footing with off-island insurance providers. Now, I don't know that anybody. Yeah. I don't know if anybody came in. Any other insurance companies from off-island came in specifically to do qualifying to do captive insurance. As much as there are, everybody else has said, "Hey, this is good. We don't have to pay taxes anymore." So it'll be fun to see what happens. The myth dispelling time is. I think there are more insurance qualifying certificates than there are QCs issued to hotels. Is that still correct?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people under the idea that the finest form of corporate welfare is given to the very, very rich people that own hotels, and there frankly aren't that many of them that have qualifying certificates. So when do you anticipate we might get some traction on the answers to the questions? Because there are people listening going, well, gee, I've got a business idea or I've got business connections. I'd sure like to turn this into an opportunity for a QC. When can I start applying again?
Sure. Well, a couple things. The first, of course, is that the team at GITA is working very diligently. We have kind of a QC committee set up in our QC task force, if you will, within GITA, working towards getting our QCs going and growing. And we're also looking to streamline the process of both application and surveillance for the QCs. So what I'm hoping is that people will be patient with us, because what we are trying to do is roll out a product that's good and appropriate for the people of Guam and for the ultimate benefit of our island, right? We're not trying to roll out something just for the purpose of being reactionary or, just because this industry is crying, we're going to give them the same thing. What we want to do is make sure that what we're doing is good and appropriate for the long-term good of our island. And so, there's a lot of moving parts there. Our governor is very supportive of our efforts to continue to grow, to continue to maintain and expand our QC program. And I think, but we also have, the legislature's a bit involved right now, as well as the AG's office. So we're also waiting on some other parties for their feedback as well.
All right. So we keep an eye on that.
I'm hoping to sort this all out in the coming couple of months.
Let's go. Take leaving out for drinks, and we'll just sort it out over a table at Crust.
Right. Did you get my letter? What do you think? Any questions?
Yeah. Just anybody? Hey, Red Lobster's coming. Did they get a QC?
No, not that I'm aware.
All right, just checking. Hey, last thing before I let you go, because I know how busy you are, is obviously the news is starting to go around that the solid waste receivership deal has come to an end for all intents and purposes, but there is still the issue about ensuring that there is the right kind of spend on the closure and the maintenance of the ORDOT dump now for the next 30 years or something like that. Seems to me in the last conversation you and I had, it sounded like Gita was fast tracking an opportunity to change some of the bits and pieces on some loan documentation to include the gap dollars, if you will, between what we've got in the bank right now and what we need to borrow. Is that still part of the plan that you guys are working through?
We are still working through this plan, but it's changed its face a little bit. And I'll give it. I'm going to give you the short story.
Now, make it the easy for Ray to understand story. That's the way I like it.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so we started off with an estimate, a post-closure estimate of the ordered dump. So Lausanne was going to cost, we already know Lausanne was about a $30 million construction cost, up to $30 million.
Right.
So for Lausanne, we decided to do a bond. We turned over a number of stones and we said, okay, it looks like the bond is the cheapest, the fastest, and can get money in the bank very quickly to get this constructed within 2 dry seasons. So Lausanne was a pretty straightforward deal. The ordered post-closure, we initially thought because the U.S. Department of Justice, U.S. EPA, who brought on the lawsuit in the beginning, they said, look, we will, if you want to, the ordered post-closure is one of the things holding us back from ending the receivership. The ordered post-closure, how do you want to handle it?
Mm-hmm.
And the original story, I think, was that GSWA was like, well, we'll put money in the banks and we'll handle it.
Yeah.
And that was not an acceptable solution to them. They said, we want the money in a trust type of situation. And to which the receiver issued an RFP and nobody responded. And so the receiver said, I will be the trustee. I'll continue to handle certain operations and continue to be a trustee, which in the eyes of the administration, I believe was a lot of like, well, that sounds to me like a receivership by a different name.
Yeah.
Right?
That sounds right.
Yeah. And so here we were, fast forward however many, 11 years later. And this trustee, this issue of a trustee was still a red herring to getting this deal done. And so the judge said, go away and find a solution to this trustee issue. And what Gita thought was, well, why don't we wrap it up into a bond? Because if we pre-fund it with a bond, if we put all the money in a bank for ordered post-closure and then let GSWA pay off the bond, then your money is governed under the trust agreement, a bond trustee anyways, so the bond trustee is in place so to make sure that the money that you issued the bond for is used for that specific purpose.
Yeah.
And I said, that's not that different than the trustee that they were calling, that the court was calling for in the very beginning, a bond trustee, what you need. And so we went back and forth a couple times. But in the very, very last minute, US EPA came back to us with a number that was adjusted for inflation and other, they called them contingencies, construction contingencies.
I know where that number is going.
Right, and the number was 14 million. Now it blew up to 21 million.
Mm.
And so when you have 7 million in the bank and you think you're going to go out and borrow an additional 7 million, I said to, so this is where Gita was working with the governor, and we said, if you add 7 million on to the existing bond, we're talking about about $1 million a year in freed up cash flow, instead of putting all the money pay as you go. So the two options were, well, A, you can put $2 million a year into this trusteeship that was set up by the receiver, or you can issue a bond and pre-fund it all up front. And we said, okay, well, if we issue the bond, Governor, that's about $1 million less in cash flow,
mm-hmm.
or $1 million more in cash flow that you're going to realize because the bond payment was a lot less than $2 million a year. So then when they gave us the costs that were adjusted by the contingencies and all that, then all of a sudden the $1 million in savings turned into not that much, in which case we said, Governor, I don't think it's worth it. I don't know if now we need to really think about it. And I actually used it in the court. I said, we have to think about whether the juice is worth the squeeze. Are we going to go out for a bond wherein the payment is level to what the payment would have been if you just had stuck it in a trust account? Why don't we just look at opening up a trust account at a bank or a financial institution of some kind? And so, the bottom line was, we went to the governor and we asked the governor, we said, Governor, you have a choice between paying $2 million for 7 years into a trust account or paying $1.7 million for 12 years in a bond payment. Now, what would you do, Ray?
Oh, punt.
I tell you what,
I would take the option that gives me the most flexibility with the dollars.
Yes, that's what I said.
Yeah.
I said I'm gonna take the 1.7 over 12 years because that gives me a lot of wiggle room, do what I want. I don't have to. But the governor decided on and we went back and forth between the pros and the cons of both.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the governor, I think, made the right choice, which was, she said, let's save.
So we're just going to do it on cash flow.
On interest, let's do it on cash flow, and let's be aggressive. Let's be aggressive about maintaining our expenses over at Guam Solid Waste. So I think she is assigning a higher level of accountability to GSWA management as well as GSWA board. So I applaud her for that.
We frankly, Mel, we all are. We all are. I mean, we all have memories of living on Guam and before 2008, before the receiver came in and fixed everything for us. And I hope that I am proven wrong, but I just worry that there are things that the government of Guam has done and things that the government of Guam doesn't do well at all. And I'm worried that this is going to be another one of those failures. No matter how well it was put together for us, once we get control of it, once we start losing control of the money, the inventory, and the administration. But like I say, I'm hoping to be proved wrong on this. Mel, it's always fun talking with you.
You too, Ray. You have a good day.
I'm going to have a good day. We'll chat again soon. I think it's interesting at the topic on the qualifying certificates. So there could be other conversation about that down the road. Nice to see you're thinking along the same lines as me. We need health insurance is a big deal here on Guam. I'm talking to people that have got some serious issues where a doctor has made a recommendation and the insurance company is looking at it saying, well, I'm glad your doctor made this recommendation. We'll send you someplace, but they don't do that particular procedure. So we're all kind of upside down on what's going to happen next. It's nice. It would be nice to have more choices. Mel, I'll see you. Have a great day.
All right.
9:28 in the morning, 888-8255. Got a couple of quick minutes for John before I get into the next guest. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Ray. I agree with you. I hope Guam does good because it took the federal government to come in and shake things up, got it better. They did the recycling. They pick up the refrigerators at a cost, to the consumer, which is good. It was worth it. I just hope that Guam doesn't mess it up like they usually do, and hopefully they'll send out our taxes.
It'll all happen. It'll all happen. And my understanding is they've got a bunch of Status A returns for 2018 that have already been processed, which means that as funds become available for them, they should be in a position to start paying the refunds on those things.
Oh, that's good. And another thing, Ray, what about this, what's that called?
Garnishment?
Yeah, the garnishment too, but my real question is, how can the election commission just ignore the fine to the senators that didn't disclose their financial thing?
Right.
I remember reading that yesterday. It's so easy that the senators, it's the law. You have to give the financial disclosure. So they're breaking the law. They should get fined, just like all us regular people. We don't wear our seatbelt, we get fined, we pay the bill.
Right.
But it seems like it's okay for them to do it, but the common person can't.
We'll see if maybe the Attorney General, tell it to the AG. Maybe that's something that Levin Camacho might attack next.
Yeah, I hope so, because he's doing a good job.
Yeah, so far so good. John, I'll see you soon, buddy.
You too. Thank you.
All right, bud. Now, the guys over at Daily Post yesterday, upon hearing about the conclusion of the receivership, asked Dave Manning for some comments, and he wrote back to Kevin Kerrigan last night. The entire receiver team is pleased to have had the opportunity to build a modern solid waste system for Guam. Guam now has the opportunity to build on our work and maintain this system, but it will require continued focus of the fundamentals and political leadership that will provide meaningful support and protect it from destructive interference going forward. We're also very proud of our work to close the ORDOT dump, building the necessary systems to protect Guam's environment from this environmental hazard that has plagued the island for decades. We look forward to completing our post-closure work on the ORDOT dump in the coming months. While many people on Guam have been helpful and supportive of our work, I was waiting for him to say, except those jerks over at the legislature back when we first got the job. It is important to recognize that none of it would have been possible without the courage and leadership of Chief Judge Francis Tydenko Gatewood. And those, what could be the final expensive comments from Dave Manning. I say final expensive comments because we discovered in taking a look at some of the billing that they did, when GBB did for the solid waste system here on Guam, when we would call them, hey, Dave, how you doing? How's the weather? What's going on with the dump? What's going on with the trucks and all of that stuff? They were charging us like $175, $200 an hour for those interviews. Needless to say, I became a little bit more judicious in the call-outs to Dave and others at GBB. 9:32 in the morning, that's iConnect time. iConnect, hey, we're going to be living loud here in just a second. iConnect is a great place to go if you've got a phone plan and you're going, wow, this is expensive. You know what? Talk to the guys at iConnect about great plans with great technology, internet access, that kind of thing, and without spending an arm and a leg at iConnect.
Do you know someone who has difficulty following conversation in noisy places or turns up the TV a little too loud? These may be signs of a hearing loss. Ross Hearing Aids specializes in hearing evaluations, custom-fit hearing aids using the latest in wireless digital technology, and custom-fit hearing protectors. Call Ross Hearing Aids today to schedule a complimentary hearing consultation. 637-HEAR, 637-HEAR. Ross Hearing Aids, located across Shirley's in Harmon.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll. Let's gallivant. Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
Everybody wants to be more productive. We look for ways to optimize our time and maximize our efforts. But how far would you go to do this? I'm Jerry Roberts, and at 7:20 a.m. on The Ray Gibson Show, we're going to get a little bit extreme and see how you feel about it.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at guamtraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
Studio time is 9:34. Hey, Cat Phillips Uggan, what are we doing here? What photo are you commenting? Oh, I think I know which photo you're commenting on. It's the pre and post race photo I have on Facebook. That's nice. JZ Taminglu is online this morning, as is my pal Brett Evan. Good to see you there, Commander. Romeo Carlos asking, who is that was speaking? And it was Mel Mendiola from GITA who I was talking to about qualifying certificates and loans to support the trusteeship, if you will, or the management of ORDOT dump. I mean, it's one thing to operate a landfill that they put together over there. It's another to make sure that the once upon a times of whatever creatures are living at the bottom of the ORDOT dump don't come back to haunt us. Rita Hugo is online. I see Nicholas Ichihara. Trusty, musty, fusty. English, please. Sorry about that, friend. Clear as we can get, that is the English version of it. When you've got somebody that's supposed to be watching out and ensuring that the spend is done adequately, those are trusteeship positions. Jose Martinez, Chito de Guzman, and Richard Clark, all online. And with me in the studio, I love this name, Evander de Guzman. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. You're from the University of Guam, right?
Yes, I am.
Yes, from the University of Guam. and I love going to the campus. I get lost on campus now because it's completely different than it was when I was a student at the university all those years. You guys are getting a new student center, right?
Yeah. It's actually in the plans of making and
pretty much in the plans of building. I think it's going to take probably the next 5 to 10 years.
Do you know where it's going yet? Yeah, I don't know either. I know some of the guys that have got. I know some guys that I sat down with a luncheon with some of the student services people not that long ago, and we were talking about all of the things that are going to be happening once you've got a new student center. Fortunately for me, the old student center is exactly where it was from back in the olden days in the 1980s when I was a student at the University of Guam. But like I said, somebody says, "Well, it's over in the lecture hall over there." And then I got to find a student to say, where is this? Where am I headed? Where am I supposed to be going?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty huge campus now, like compared to how it was before. There's a lot of new buildings, a lot of new improvements to the infrastructure all over the campus. That's why there's some people who attended the university back like 20 to 30 years ago who came by our SGA office, and they were like, where is this like location at? Where's this building at? Because these new buildings I'm so unfamiliar with.
I remember when Dean Circle was just the old houses, right?
Yeah.
And now there's actual buildings that have gone up around there, just all kinds of other activities that are taking place in those little houses.
Oh yes, there's like many different organizations that are taking part in the Dean Circle, like for example the Center of Island Sustainability. Right. They have been working hard to like.
You get classes there? You doing any classes on that side?
Unfortunately, no. But at the same time, like I don't want to walk or waste my gas driving all the way down there. I mean, I'm mostly part in the School of Health or the School of Nursing and Health Science.
Okay, now which building is that?
That is like by the science building.
Okay, science and math on that side?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I think I know where. I think I know where that is. There was a long time ago in the ancient histories of the University of Guam. That's where the elections took place.
Oh my goodness.
Because there's a breezeway in the middle of the science building, right? And so we would come in and we'd open a set of double doors over there, and then by lever, we'd hoist the ballots from the first floor to the second floor, which is where the counting center was. That's where all the computers were back in the olden days.
Everything is just here in the field house.
Everything is done in the field house, and you guys have got a big deal going on in the field house this weekend, right?
Actually, it's tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow.
So what's the party?
So this is the university's first ever diversity day. It's called Tritons Out Loud. It first started as a plan with our dean, Mr. Lawrence Camacho. It was last semester where he brought up the idea is like, hey, that's something that the university hasn't really has been known for celebrating. It's like diversity around this campus.
Well, let's define diversity here, because when I was a little boy, and back in the politically incorrect '80s, diversity was I'm white, she's brown, he's yellow, but we're all friends together, and so we celebrate that kind of diversity amongst ourselves. But there are so many different ways now that we find slice the differences and highlight when we do get together, right?
Yeah. So pretty much the diversity that we're talking about here is with time passing by, and like people are starting to appreciate like the different cultures, the different ethnicities, different human sexuality with different people. That's what we're here to celebrate, is to make sure that the whole university is open to let the whole entire island community that we are. We love everyone. We appreciate all different types of people, who you love, what you believe in, and where you came from. And it's just a pretty big event that we're going to celebrate tomorrow.
Now, do we need to do that anymore? I mean, here we are. It seems to me that we are post-racial, post-LGBTQI, and kind of post-everything. We all understand that we're different people and love each other differently, and in different ways that we express those kinds of things. Yeah. Do we still need to, take a time out and say, but let's celebrate it?
Yeah,
I mean, is this just an excuse for a party? And
No.
it's okay if it's just an excuse for a party.
No. It's not just an excuse for a party. I mean, this is just something to show an appreciation for everyone, because there around this world, or not just on this island, there's like a lot of hate going around. Not a lot of appreciation for the people like this. I mean, there's a lot of people who have from different nationalities, different ethnicity, different sexualities. And we're just here to just let them know that we care, we love, and appreciate you for who you are and what you believe in. Yeah. That's pretty much the whole entire gesture of it. And not only as students, but even the administration are very supportive with this event. And this is the very first celebration of diversity around this campus. So
how are we going to celebrate?
So
because it's alcohol smoke-free.
Yeah. So we're pretty much going to start off with a parade with different organizations. Like student organizations within the university and outside organizations who will be taking part in this event. Like they'll be holding booths and everything. There'll be food trucks being sold for refreshments or for dinner. And then we have fashion shows. So the fashion show, it's like being displayed by multiple brands, and I would like to just give a shout out to them for actually reaching out to our very first event. So we'd like to give a shout out to CC Love Club, Cravings Boutique, Keep Pushing, Pitbull Empire, Blush Bridal Boutique, and Analista & Co. So these 6 brands were able to reach out to us, and we're just so thankful to have them be a part of this very first Diversity Day fashion show.
The Analista clothes are loud by definition. I've seen. I know him, and we've known each other since we were both students at the University of Guam, working together in the media. And Norman, Norman has 2 speeds: fast and stop. And his clothes have 2 speeds: fast and stop as well. So I think that there's going to be some real exciting stuff going to be taking place. And then of course you get the models are going to be up representing the diverse cultures and communities of the university.
Yes. So we actually have two separate halves of our fashion shows. So the first half is in regards for like the competition. So within the competition, we have like most original and most cultural, and we have not just organizations creating their own original piece, but specific individuals.
Really?
Yeah. And we're showcasing their own work and what their creativity is in and what they believe, and see like the meaning behind their design. And we're having like a few judges come to critique their own
I'm gonna love design. Watching the videos for these things.
Oh yes,
because it sounds like it's one of these things that's going to be packing up the field house. So when does it start? How much to get in? All of that.
So it starts from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. tomorrow at the UOG field house, of course, and it is actually a free event. It's open to the public. Yeah.
Perfect. And so are we going to, in my mind, I'm closing my eyes and go, okay, there's going to be a stage, and we're going to have DJs, and we're going to have people with, on the microphone all the time talking about all the different activities and things like that. Will this eventually devolve into a rave?
No. I mean, it's just it's not really like a rave party. It's just a big whole collaboration.
So where's the
and
rave afterwards? Where are we going after? Where's the after party?
Well, it's not. We try not to have an after party. It's just a big event. I mean, we're just students just planning this, and it's a lot of work, especially coming off of Charter Day, because we were actually helping plan Charter Day for around last month.
So the Charter Days back in the old days all devolved into would have been raves at the time, and there's like classes of people at the University of Guam, mine in particular, which is why there are rules for Charter Day. We're the reason why some of those rules are in place. Troy Torres is the other reason why some of those rules are in place. Just a little bit of history of the University of Guam and things like that. How many people you anticipate showing up at this?
We're hoping to look at about 300 people. That's what
you
we
can get
usually
bigger than that. You can get huger crowds than that. But I mean, is that only university population, or like old white guy? Can I go?
So of course, everyone is welcome to come.
See, diversity. Even old white guys can show up.
I only say 300 people because, like, for every event that SGA always plans, we always aim for at least 10%. So there's about 4,000 students enrolled for this semester. So nearly 400 people is what we aim for 10%. But because this is an open to the public event, we're expecting to have more.
Right. And it's a UOG, it's a field house. It's it's easy to get to, it's central to everything. And it's an interesting crowd, I think, that you're going to run into of people there, diverse cultures, diverse backgrounds, diverse beliefs, diverse sexuality, things like that, that are going to be celebrated and for the very first time at the university.
Oh, yeah. And it's just something not just for the university, but also to the whole Guam community. I mean, we're bringing everyone together for this event, and I'm trying
to readjust my thinking on this. So, like I said, I'm thinking rave and flags in the parades and things like that. But it's not really. It's a little bit more chill than what I'm thinking.
Yes, it's more chill. It's not going to be like a hardcore rave party. No, that's not what we're looking at. It's more of like we have an agenda set already, and we're happy to announce like also Mama Shar will also be like hosting this event. So. Yeah.
She got like 4 diversity things going at once just with her. No, and up to and including. Did you know that the Shar's a scratch bowler?
Really?
Bowler, yes. Oh. Absolutely. Little known fact. but throw the bowling ball overhand down the lanes and get strikes all the time. I'm serious. Pro bowler, you got to check that out.
That is crazy.
So
I didn't
as
know
we
about
say,
that.
well, because I think that is common in our time and place anymore. Is that everybody is taken at face value and not necessarily there's a little bit of scratching and you get to learn about the people below the surface. And I think that's what this event is going to be at the end of it. At the end of the night is everybody getting together and saying, "Oh, I didn't know that about you. I didn't. All I saw was this person who is different than me, or more different than me, and not necessarily kind of investing into the people to learn a little bit more about them. Now, the food trucks. This is very important. Who have you got confirmed already?
So I believe I actually don't know who.
There are people that follow food trucks on Guam.
Yeah, I know. But like our vendor committee has been doing an amazing job on like gathering these food trucks. They know the list of the names. I don't think I probably know a few. I think there's
just beat me tomorrow with the names,
of course,
and we'll get those things on the air and get everybody else. And now tell me a little bit about yourself, Evander. Did you now your folks, Mr. and Mrs. De Guzman, did they know when they named you Evander that was going to be the first question out of everybody's mouth for the rest of your life? You mean like Evander Holyfield? You've never heard that before, right?
No, I get that a lot. I really get that a lot. Even my uncle calls me Evander Holyfield, but it was just around the time when, of course, I was born 1998, and that's when Evander Holyfield was like a big thing in boxing. And at the same time, I don't think I was named after Evander Holyfield because my mom's name is actually Evangeline.
Ah,
so yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I get that. So what's your dad's name?
My dad is Mariano de Guzman.
Okay, I'm trying to get Evangeline leads to Evander, but what's it? Mariano doesn't necessarily lead to Evander.
No.
It's a very common once upon a time where you get Filipino husband and wife, and they mash their names together, and that's the name of the firstborn. No.
That's not how it went. I mean, regardless, I mean, I really get a lot of jokes of like Evander Holyfield. I mean, I get that. It's nothing new to me.
What are you studying?
I'm currently studying in health science with the concentration in exercise science and health promotion.
I'm sorry, you said that too fast. What, health science and what?
Health science with the concentration in exercise science and health promotion.
Exercise science, health promotion. What gym are you going to? You use the one at the university?
No, I'm actually I'm planning to actually take my praxis, and I want to become a health teacher.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So praxis. Now I hear a lot about that. First of all, you're in a program, kind of med program at the University of Guam. Those are unbelievably difficult to get into, aren't they?
It is. It's never easy. I mean, there's never a day where you go home not studying.
I mean, just the process of getting in. I know people that 4.0 all of their lives, one blemish somewhere, kicked them out of and they lost their seat in the nursing program.
Oh yeah, well that is the nursing program, but with the school that I'm in, there's actually two different programs. There is the nursing program, and then there is the health science program.
Okay.
So I lie in the health science field. So there's not really a requirement to go into it, not as strict as nursing, but it is. There's some classes that are required from like that are related to nursing. And
is there a lot of math?
There is a lot of math, and there's a lot of learning about, of course, the human body and the bones and how it works.
Physiology, of course. I mean, that's basic. But I mean, biology, chemistry, math, is that all in there? Then you might as well go to the nursing program. No. Dude, if you're gonna do the math, you're gonna do the hard part anyway. I mean, it seems to me that would be for me the hard part is punching through all of the biology and the chemistry and the math.
Yeah, but at the same time, my passion is like teaching and giving back to the youth. So I would like to like pass down like more information of what I've learned to the younger generation.
Right.
And that's pretty much.
So what's your backup plan?
So my backup plan.
Everybody's got one.
So if I don't have like the teaching job, then I would like go and help make workout programs in gyms. Or be a personal trainer.
Okay. All right. And there's something to be said about all of that. So that's why I was asking about which gym that you want to go to. So when you're not in school, when you're not studying, what's your sport?
I'm actually not doing any sort of.
He looks like you'd be a wrestler, right? He's a big kid.
No, I honestly, back in my middle and high school days, I only graduated high school like 3 years ago.
I was gonna say it's 98.
No. But I've done cross country, track and field, and basketball for Simon Sanchez High School.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, they're finally getting around to doing something that might actually turn into a fix for Simon Sanchez. So, obviously we got to wish them good luck on it. So, last chance to sell tickets. So tomorrow, like I said, beat me on the food trucks and let me know who's going to be there.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
Between Mark and Kevin, everybody's got my contact information. Or
of
just
course.
Find it on the web. But let me know about that. Any any last-minute additions that you've got to the program?
Yes. I would just like to thank our sponsors for this event. I would like to thank Electric Island Festival, Guam High
You're
Regency.
hooked up with the IF?
Yeah.
See, that's why I think there's gonna be a rave later. See, this is the whole thing. It's talking about an event at Friday night. So everybody will show up. We'll hit the field house. We'll do the food trucks. We'll walk around, get groovy, and then at 10 o'clock when they close the doors, we just go like I don't know what sandcastle.
No. I mean. EIF has been just a supportive sponsor.
You are such a well-behaved 19-year-old. I mean, when I was a kid, 21, something like that, right? Yeah. So when I was your age, that was the whole idea. We'd show up for all of the artsy-fartsy stuff at school, and then go find some place to drink later.
No. I mean,
you're such a different generation. We're celebrating diversity.
No. I mean, like. I don't really have much time to go out and do a lot of party stuff because I'm just bombarded with just planning for activities for SGA.
Dude, just go into communications. Just take the CO courses, man, because it's never homework.
I'm already done with my CO courses already.
Okay, man. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Yeah, no worries. So like our sponsors, we'd like to thank our sponsors: EIF, Hyatt Regency, Guam Seawalker, Foremost, Sky Zone, Cup and Saucer, Guam Premier Outlet, Capriciosa, and Tony Ramos. Those are just a few sponsors we would just like to thank. There are many more that I can name, but
those are the top guys. Let me get one other question before I let you run here, sure. and it has to do with a little bit of current events and from. Golly, you're so straight. I don't know whether I want to ask this question, but with this new recreational marijuana, and you're at the age, what did I say, 21, 22, right?
I'm 21.
21. So you could legally find an ounce of this stuff and in the privacy of your own home and with your own friends, toke it up and smoke it up. Is this a big deal in your age group? Just what you guys spend a lot of time talking about.
On a personal stance, I'm not really one who smokes marijuana, but if it's for knowing a lot of people around my year, they do smoke marijuana, and once they hit
you went to
our
Sanchez.
age, yeah, that is true. Yeah, honestly, yeah, I can't deny it.
Dude, keep it real.
But yeah, it's. I'm sure like people are happy at my age that turn 21 and they smoke marijuana, but at the same time, it's for recreational use. It's for medical use. I like to think.
No,
it's not.
It's not to get high. No, it's recreational.
Oh, it's recreational.
Yeah. As long as you're over 21, what is it, up to an ounce is legal. Eventually, there's going to be dispensaries that get opened up. I mean, this could be, and so you think about health sciences and things like that. And so we do have medicinal marijuana, and there are ways that people can get hooked up with medicinal marijuana. But now we've also got recreational, and there will come a time where somebody says, "All right, we need a guy like Evander that can do the mathematics, work in the laboratory." Seriously now, make sure that this weed is safe for people to smoke. We might be able to get an amount of THC so that we can modulate, to the degree to which people get mellow or very, very high. And so they're going to need people that have those kinds of skills. So, I mean, there's a real world application for you, but I'm just wondering if you have noticed in the last couple of weeks, more and more of your friends have got red Chinese eyes.
Honestly, I've just been so busy to even care about like my friends that smoke marijuana.
Right.
So, I mean, I think for the most part, people are going to be happy about like the approval of recreational marijuana being legalized here.
Dude, you're my designated driver. If we go out, you're definitely designated driver. This guy's he's a straight arrow. Dude, it was a pleasure meeting you. Evander Diggerswan, thanks very much for coming in. Don't forget, we're on Facebook Live, YouTube Live. This will be a video on demand a little bit later on, so you can use it as evidence against me at some point in time. 9:54, real quick break, and I'll be right back.
Get a Coke 12-pack for only $3.49 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a dozen extra-large eggs for only 49 cents when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a case of Circle K water for only $2.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
GRMC's cardiology department treats most complex heart problems. In our catheterization lab, cardiologists use imaging equipment to treat clogged arteries that can cause heart attacks or heart failure. We perform balloon angioplasty, stenting, and other life-saving cardiac procedures. If you suffer from a heart condition, have your provider refer you to GRMC's cardiology clinic at 645-5500. GRMC, where patients are partners.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point, Half a Day. I'm Mark Beneventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamo. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Yeah. I appreciate it when you call me in the morning. It's always nice to hear from you one way or the other. 9:56 and change. Coming up, I got Fox News Live, Brian Kilmeade, Rush Limbaugh, the rest of the right-wing bomb throwers on the radio today. I just like to throw bombs every once in a while. Did you hear it? Didn't sound like he knew that there was recreational marijuana now. That kind of threw me. I think if I was 21, 22 years old, that's all I'd be talking about.
Well, that's
that
what
girls,
happens
right?
when you're not on Facebook.
Oh, I guess there is some of that. All right, 888-8255. But my buddy Rudy Magallanes with a question online says, Ray, do you know who sells CBD oil? And the answer is, I think everybody is selling CBD oil now, right? I mean, are we at a point yet where you get it free with a fill-up at the gas station?
I'm not sure. I do know Laddie Stone. They're under new management now.
Oh.
And so they're open, and they will sell all sorts of CBD products. Right up there. What is
by
it?
Honey Bear, or the old Honey Bear up in Sinahania. Okay, and I think, what's the Port of Mocha's? The coffee shops?
Coffee Slut will do CBD in your coffee.
No, but I think you can buy actual lotions and things like that.
I haven't. They don't really allow me in Hagåtña very much,
Well, there's a Port of Mocha about everywhere. And they're usually like right next to Infusions. I don't know, but that's just be on the lookout for those kinds of places, Rudy. And if you really run into trouble, send me a direct message on Facebook, and I'll see if I can get a couple of other guys that might have access to it. What is getting very common, I think, is people that leave Guam and go to the States, and but California in particular, and go out and do some shopping at some of these boutique places where CBD oil is everywhere out there. But again, you got THC products that are available everywhere out there as well. So there's distinctions and all kinds of brands that are coming up these days. Frankly, it was one of these weird conversations. I was at a friend's house for a party the other day, and the topic of CBD oils and derivatives came up, and virtually everyone at the table reached into their purse and pulled out something that had CBD in it.
Yeah, no, it's becoming a huge thing.
Yeah.
The medicinal benefits of CBD, we're just starting to crack that egg, man, and really, it's proving very useful for me. The drops you gave me, man, they really helped me sleep. I have to take a couple little doses, but I mean, within a couple hours, man, I'm ready to just kind of night.
And are you able to sleep all the way through the night?
Oh, all the way through until the cat wakes me.
So, until put some CBD in the cat. Maybe the cat will sleep a little bit longer as well.
Cool.
So you've got there are a lot of options out there. Personally, for me, the excitement is seeing new industries, new opportunities open up for business people of all kinds. And as I said earlier, ERC Trading, right? They are now selling hydroponic products and supplies. You can use these to make cherry tomatoes. You can use these to grow salad, or if you want to, or if you're going to make the investment in grow lights and hydroponic grow tents and grow systems and tents. Personally, I'd see if there's a way that you might be able to take care of your continuous THC needs, whether you need them to take the edge off a week, or maybe you need them to help you sleep, or help you with some of the cravings that you might have, or whatever. Seems like a big investment to make in something you might be able to buy at Payless, right? So my thinking is, it wouldn't surprise me if you swing by later on today and they're already sold out of the good stuff. 9:59, that's all the time I got for you today. It's Friday tomorrow. Lots of interviews to take care of. Lots of cool people going to be coming in, and lots to talk about from the news. You want to stay up on the news? Download the Daily Post app and stick that on your phone. Hey, I got to go. It's 10. We're KUSG Hagåtña.
I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. 34-year-old Isaiah Peoples being held in Sunnyvale, California, after police say he rammed into a group of people at a busy intersection in Silicon Valley.
All evidence obtained indicates that this was an intentional act, that the driver purposely